Binto, come in. Hey guys, how are we doing? Just speaking to Binto, should be speaking to you. I bring him in the office because I've got the aircon on when I do a stream and he loves it because he's so hot, it's hot out there and looks like it's going to rain a bit later. So welcome to the Saturday stream. I'll say a big hi to Perbert because I know he likes the Saturday streams. Probably got a beer in hand. Third in tonight, okay? All right, Jesse, how you doing? First in tonight, good to see you, mate. Uncle Willie B, second person in, and then Perbert number 3. Let me just get rid of that message there. It's up to you. How you doing? And Crypto Chris, how you doing? So I've only got about 28 people in at the moment, so we'll just wait till we get some more people in and we get some good conversation going. I don't know what I'm going to talk about today. It's all unscripted. He's getting big now. Look, oh, boy, he's getting really big now. He's got one more injection to come next month. We took him for an injection. Hang on. Oh, that's better. His legs are, and then. But he's really timid. We took him to a local market and he's bloody petrified. He's shaking and he's, we've got to get him socialized. He's all right with me, look. He's probably been licking his ass. Now he's licking me. But yeah, look. Stop licking. Looks like a fox, doesn't he? Okay. Huh? Girlfriend loves him. Okay, get down. Get down. Hairs everywhere. All right, what we're going to talk about today. What we're going to talk about. Well, we've got a load more people in here now. Who's this? Who was the last person? Right. Ricardo, good morning, Peter. Scorching here in the UK. Good stuff. What's tonight's topic from, I'll put that up there. Is that, how do you say your name? Is it SM Ransom? Okay. The Brits are obsessed with the heat. They're actually obsessed with the weather. I mean, if you ever meet somebody in England, you'll meet somebody, say, this is John, for instance, and you leave them to it. The first thing you say, oh, it's been cold lately, isn't it? Oh, the sun's been out, we've been lucky. It's always the weather. Be happy, Pat. Hi, Peter and friends from northern France. Still have, but said to cool down soon. Hope you're well. Right, so if we've got anybody in, and I will be repeating this, if there's anybody in who's in Pattaya or Bangkok, remember it's a dry day today because of local elections. Could be other areas as well, but I did a bit of searching around and I can only see Bangkok and Pattaya. Here in Hua Hin, none of the bar owners know about a dry day, so I presume there's alcohol tonight. But that's from 6 p.m. tonight until 6 p.m. Sunday night. So if you're in Pattaya and you like a drink every day, you need to go and stock up. Shane, he's got the heater on in Oz. Jesus, I can't imagine putting the heater on here, that's for sure. So we've actually got a workman now who's going to come round and we're going to buy 40 rolls of insulation for the ceiling because it gets very hot. It's a single-story house. The sun's blazing on the ceiling all day. We've done a lot already. We've put UV tinted glass on the glass rather. We've got a 5-bladed 6-speed fan in the ceiling, but it's still bloody hot. So what we've done, I've managed to get a Chang, a local worker. That's what he does. He's gonna charge us 3,500 baht to do it. But we need about 40 rolls, and it's 500 baht a roll. So it's going to be 23,500. But from what I've read online, it's going to be a big game changer. That'll cool the house right down. The sun just can't penetrate the ceiling. Might get a couple of whirlybirds as well. They're on a tile. You just remove one tile from the roof and you put one of these things that spin. So yeah, it gets so hot in the afternoon. Seamus, hi Peter, I'm up bright and early. Good stuff. What time is it in the UK now? So it's 2 here. It's 1, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8 in the morning. Okay. I'm lazy. I mean, when I was in England, I used to have to get up, drive those kids to school. But what I do here, I tend to sleep about 12:30, which is too late, really. I'm watching TV. And then I wake up about 8:30, but I don't get up. I turn my mobile phone on. I'm looking at messages and messing about with TikTok and stuff like that. And I'll end up getting out of bed about 10 in the morning. It's too late, isn't it? Holden fan. Hi, Peter. How are you, mate? What are your thoughts of the hottest day in the UK being 36 degrees? Well, it's just outrageous, isn't it? Frankly, I mean, 36 degrees, that's on a par with Thailand. I think we're only 36 today, but the difference in the UK, two things difference in the UK. One, the UK isn't really geared up for hot heat like that because most people don't have air conditioning. And the second thing is you don't have the humidity like you do in Thailand. The humidity here, I think it's like 82 to 86%. So it doesn't matter what the weather's doing. Even when it's raining, it's humid, especially after the rain. But 36, that's very hot. I've never known it to be the highest I've ever seen it in the UK was about 31. I've never known it to be 36. That's very, very hot. And it's even hotter, actually, in Europe. I was reading yesterday, a kid died in a car because what happened, the parents thought that the kid had run in and he was in his bedroom and they'd locked the car, and the kid was outside in the blazing sun, locked in a car for 45 minutes. They rushed him out to the bedroom and he died. And then there was another woman who died. I don't know exactly how she died, but it was because of the heat. Midnight in Fresco, California, says Uncle Willie B. Okay. All right. Do you know what? I don't know what it is, but the Russians here, they're bloody rude. They really are. I'll probably get labelled a racist now, but I don't care because they are. I did some filming. I released a video to members today. I met Ing, the visa lady, nothing to do with visas, but we went round to 3 different apartments because she runs a kind of real estate business as well, renting out apartments. So I said, oh, that's cool. Let's go and look at a few apartments. And we looked at 3 different 1-bedroom apartments just to show you guys what you get for your money. Not necessarily just down here, because it will be on a par with Pattaya. You'll get the same. It'll be probably 50% more in Bangkok. So we did the 3 videos. That's okay. The video would come out nice. But I wanted to film the gym in one of the complexes. And this Russian guy, you need a key to get in the gym. And I stood there and he turned up and he just kind of looked at me like I was something on the bottom of his shoe, opened the gym. And he could see I wanted to do a sweeping, just show people the equipment very quickly. And he stood in the middle of the room with his hands on his hips, looking at me like he owned the bloody place. I just have lots of bad experiences with Russians. I don't know what it is. Okay, it's up to you. Just read the story about the Australian man arrested for allegedly unaliving a 17-year-old Thai girl and putting the body in a suitcase. My girlfriend actually told me about this morning. I haven't read it, but he's finished. I mean, if that's true, he's finished. His life's over. In fact, you know what the Thais are like? When he's eventually sent to jail, if he's not, I don't know if they have a death penalty here still. When he's eventually sent to jail, he'll get beaten up by the Thai guys because he killed a Thai woman. Even criminals got some kind of a cold, don't they? Jason, very upsetting to see breaking news on TV. Australian foot. I just read that out, haven't I? Yeah. So that's you're the second person to mention that. Perbert, that's a crazy story. I'll go and read it after the live stream. Like I say, I haven't read it yet. Western cycle crime imported to Thailand. There's so much of it now. I mean, I look at a lot of TikTok videos, Instagram and stuff, just because they're so short, they're good to look at. There's so much kicking off down there in Pattaya at the moment. Walking Street, a lot with the Indians as well. I don't know. They seem to get picked on. When I see videos, there's always Indians getting beaten up by 5 ladyboys or 6 ladyboys and getting themselves in all sorts of bother. But I also see like English, Australian, American, they're just fighting, they're like squaring off on Walking Street, and then Thais jump in and it's awful now. So Holden fan said, I went to the UK in 2011. I saw a family in Derbyshire. My family were wearing shorts and singlets and I was wearing jeans and a jumper in the middle of summer. Okay. Gringo Pappy, greetings from Vancouver, Peter. Did you see the list I sent you on Facebook Messenger, Joaquin? Best spots in region? No, I haven't seen that. I haven't even logged into Facebook today. Okay, no, I haven't seen it. So what I'm planning to do, I'll have a look after this, and thank you if you have sent that in. You're better off emailing it to me, to be honest. Look, my email address is in the description of this upload. If you can just copy and paste it in email, I'll definitely see it because I check my emails constantly throughout the day. So I'm going with a friend of mine tomorrow night to a town. It's about an hour from here south. He's going to drive because my eyes are terrible at night driving. And we're going to a town called Pirikan, I think it's called. It's about an hour south of here, and it's got a real nice night market. And we're going to have a look at that. And I'm hoping to film that and just show you where it is. And apparently it's real nice down there. So try and get that video out for next week. Anders Bergman, hi, how you doing? See, he's asleep now because it's when he's out there, he's hot. When I bring him in here, because we don't put the air conditioner on in the daytime. Just have a look. See where he is. Where are you? Yeah, he's curled up over there. He's such a timid dog, though. He really is. Like I said, we took him to a night market, and he was panicking so much that we put a harness on him, and he's constantly alert like this. And I walked over to get some fried rice or something. I was stood there and he tried to bolt that way. Then he tried to bolt that way. Then he panicked and he started trying to gnaw on his, the straps, to try and get out of it. Hopefully he'll change. Gringo Pappy, when will Bintel get a chick? He's a handsome fella. We thought about getting another one actually, and my girlfriend said, "Why don't we get a female so he's got company?" I says, "We won't be able to sleep. The cage will be rattling all night." No, I think one's enough. We don't want two. He's very lively in the evening. But what I noticed when we take him to the night market, because he's so timid and I have to keep pulling him and he's on alert looking, when he comes back, he's just absolutely shattered. He just flakes out and he sleeps in the evening. And he never does that when we don't take him. Okay, I don't know what we're going to talk about today because a little bit light on the comments here. If there's a subject you want to talk about or a question you want to ask me, now's the time to do it because the comments are very thin on the ground. Robert, why are they planning to become breeders? Who's that? When are they planning to become breeders? Mickey Berkshire, hello Peter. Had a fabulous week at the Intercontinental next to Blueport. I know it. First time in Hua Hin, but won't be my last. Very chilled town. It's great down here. It's amazing how many people say it's boring and they won't want to come here. Perbert, what is the #1 hobby of foreigners you meet? Funny you should bring that up because that's what we were talking about, was it? So basically there's two kind of camps. There's the bar people and the hobby they have. There's a big pool league down here. Pool is very, very big in the bars here. It's taken very seriously. You've got groups of pool players who are in a team and they go around other places. So that's one thing. It's very, very big. And then for the people who are not really in the bars, the golfing is very big here. There's 3 major golf clubs around here: Black Mountain, Pineapple Grove, and there's another one. Top class sites. That's another hobby people do. Otherwise, I notice here a lot of the Danish and the Swiss, they cycle, believe it or not. It's very, very hot here, but you see them out cycling. And some people just chill out at a swimming pool and read a book. I mean, myself, obviously doing YouTube, I don't really need any hobbies because it takes up most of my time. Excuse me. Aussie Bob, get a new dog. Okay. Robert, how you doing? Hi, Peter and Bintel. Getting big. I meant Bintel from a human Hatayai and Songkran. This fighting is it's in Pattaya. Yeah, most of the fighting is, Robert. It's you see all the videos. You can just recognize it's walking street, or you don't seem to see so much down in Soi Buakhao. I think Soi Buakhao and Metro in Pattaya, they tend to be the kind of places where you get the decent kind of visitors, if that makes sense, because there is a lot of kind of hooligans come over now. Hi Peter, have you booked your trip to Da Nang yet? Not yet, because my daughters are coming in November, and then we've got Christmas and New Year. I want to get that all out the way, and we're still doing things to the house, although we've been here full 7 months now, and we've done a lot, as well as putting in all the furniture. We've had to do things we didn't think we had to do. I've spent a lot of time trying to get my grass nice, which it was nice, and now it's gone brown. I might have to put some AstroTurf in. Had some guttering put down the right-hand side of the house because of our neighbour there. We've had the UV put on the window, as I said. We're going to have the roof insulated. So I want to get all these jobs done. Once they're done, you do them once and they're done. And once it's all done and the house is nice and it's cool, my daughters have come, Christmas has come and gone, New Year's Eve, then we'll think about booking Da Nang probably before the rainy season. I'm sure they got one there as well. But looking forward to that. It's up to you. Back to the weather. I don't know what is wrong with people here. We complain about how cold it is all the time. And when it gets some heat, they just complain about that as well. People like to complain, don't they, at the end of the day? When I was in the UK, perfect weather for me was about between 19 and 21 degrees. That was perfect. Any cooler than 19, it was a bit chilly. Any hotter, it was too hot for me. I don't mean by 1 or 2 degrees, but, you're talking 28 degrees. It's like I didn't really like it. Sean, just booked a month in Vietnam in November, 11th trip. Love it there. So cheap. Never been to Thailand, maybe one day. It would be good if you could come here and compare it because Thailand's brilliant. You know, the infrastructure. You get people complaining about Thailand. It's like, oh, immigration don't want foreigners there anymore, which is total rubbish. Because if they didn't want foreigners here anymore, they'd just cancel all the visas, wouldn't they? It'd be easy for them. It is getting a bit pricey in the entertainment zones, though. Robert says 1977, I believe it was 36. Okay, 1977, I was 17. I don't remember that far back. Oh no, hang on, think about it. I do remember around that time. I was 17. So I'd had my FS1E when I was 16. I moved up to the RD 250 two-stroke motorbike, and then I remember because what they actually did was they turned off all the water. You couldn't have any water in your house. And then they set up standpipes at the end of the street. So you had to go with a bucket and fill water that way because the reservoirs were so low. That was for about a week. Christian, how you doing? Or is it Ken? No, sorry, Ken Christopherson. Hi, Peter and gang. So hot in Denmark. Keep cool. Yeah, Europe's very, very hot, even hotter than England. So it must be about 40 degrees, I reckon, in Denmark, yeah? Perbert, there's cheaper prices, but in the end, nothing really compares to Thailand. True. I told you I went to Cambodia with my girlfriend last year. Was it last year or the year before? I think it was last year. And it was great. We went to Siem Reap and we had a good time. They had a lot of beer was cheap. It's like 18 baht for a glass of Anchor beer. And it's a nice beer, very similar to Chang. But it's not Thailand. You know, it's just so modern now. You know, you QR code all your bills. You know, you got the BTS, you got the MRT, the highways are good now. Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot to beat Thailand. I've heard people say the Philippines is good because they speak English, but they say that the local Filipino food is not that nice. Like you know, Thai food's pretty nice, isn't it? It's up to you. Oh, did you hear Starmer has gone? I did, yeah. But his replacement just looks like a clone. Yeah, Andy Burnham. I mean, he's another tosser, isn't he? Glenn Hotspur, morning, Peter. Hope you are well, mate. Binto looks like a soft toy. He has a beautiful coat. He is double coated. If so, does that mean he gets hot quick? He does get hot, but I found out after doing a little bit of digging on Google, the reason he's got two coats is because one of them actually keeps him cooled down. Binto. Yeah, he's out of it now. Once he's out, he'll be in the aircon. Glenn, how you doing? Morning, Peter. I hope you're well, mate. Binto looks like I've just read that, haven't I? Okay. Right, Robert again. Not just the Russians, Pete. Chinese here, still thinking it's pre-war and being so rude. Yeah, well, the Chinese have always been a bit like that, haven't they? You know, shouting when they talk to each other. I'm talking about mainland Chinese. You know, I've been in situations where I remember years ago, I was working in the Holiday Inn in Beijing. And it's a really big hotel. I think it was the second biggest Holiday Inn in the world. And it was only 4 floors high, but it was a big complex. It was halfway between the airport, Beijing airport, and downtown. So it was a massive complex, had everything in there, bowling alley, you know, a dozen restaurants, it had everything. And because I used to work quite late into the night, I was in the food and beverage. So what would happen is a lot of the time I would sleep till about, our morning meeting was at 9. So I'd get up at 8:30 and rush around. But these maids started cleaning the rooms from 7:30 onwards. And there's a couple of things they did that were really annoying and they don't do anywhere else in the world. So these corridors were long and there'd be a maid at that end. And this happened every morning and a maid at the other end. And they'd be shouting to each other, having a conversation down this long corridor at 7:30 in the morning in a hotel when everyone's asleep. And then the other thing they used to do, because they wanted to get off early, they'd ring your phone. And then when you picked it up and said, hello, they'd hang up on you. And eventually I clicked, it was them. They're trying to wake you up because they wanted to come in and do the room. So in the end, I just unplugged it from the wall. That must have frustrated them. I suppose, I suppose prices tend to go up in the tourist area, regardless of which country you're in. True. I mean, I was shocked in Soy Cowboy last week when I went up to Bangkok. So I was in, I think I was in the Baccarat bar. That was one of them. That's the one that has the glass dance floor. I was with Jim. My friend Jim. I don't really do go-go bars, but I just went around a few of them with him. I was in Long Gun and where else did we go to? We went to Tilak Bar and we went to Baccarat Bar. That was the one at the end with the glass floor. And just out of interest, I said to the girl, that was a waitress, smiling and being friendly. And I said to her, how much is short time now? And she showed me a tag And it was something like, by the time you paid for the bar fine, 2 drinks you had to buy a mandatory, and everything else, I think if I'm not wrong, it was like 13,000. And then short time with all the rest of it, 2 drinks off stage. They were all 1,000 baht. The cheapest, paying the bar fine was 1,000 baht anywhere you went, But I was just shocked at the prices. And I said to her, how much is I wasn't going to buy any ladies' drinks, but I said, how much was a ladies' drink? She says 480 baht for a ladies' drink. So you imagine you're sitting with a girl and you buy 2 or 3 drinks, 1,000 baht, 1,500 baht, terrible prices. And that's not just in there, that's all over. I mean, you'll get cheaper ladies' drinks in other bars, but I mean, that place is actually full of Koreans and Japanese. So, they don't know any better, do they? It's up to you. So no wonder it's very quiet there now. Yeah, it was very quiet. Same in Hua Hin now. It used to be, the bar area used to be near the Hilton. It's called Binta Bar. And it used to be really good. It's like a square. If you can imagine 4 streets, like 1, 2, 3, 4, lined with bars. And then you had Walking Street over here. And that's all there was here. And you had a lot of girls in each bar. But what they've done now, you've got Wonderland 1, Wonderland 2, Wonderland 3, 88, Binta Bar. There's so many new bars popping up. Now those girls that were concentrated in Binta Bar are now diluted amongst all these. And you go by the bars. I went with Simon last night. We were walking around, and you look in a bar. There's like 1 girl or two girls, and it's like, not that I want to take girls out, but it's nice having a bit of company sometimes, isn't it? Play games and stuff. I met a couple of guys last night as well. Who did I met? Chris from Annie's bar, I think it was. They had a party last night. I went there for a drink, but it was full. So I'll go another night. I met a guy called, I think it was an Australian guy called Daryl. I don't think they'll be watching, but I shout out anyway. And I met a couple of other people. Rick, Simps will pay the price. That's why prices go up. Okay, I don't know about that. No, I think it's like, because I worked in Korea, and if you go by today's prices, to get the equivalent in Korea, a girl for a short time, you're looking at about 20,000 baht. So if a Korean guy comes in, he's quoted like 13,000 for the night. I mean, it's cheap, isn't it? Oh, I went for a full English breakfast this morning with Simon because he's in town. I drove into town. But the problem is the bacon and sausages. I'm going to be drinking water all day now. Vlog Vein. Hi, Peter. Greetings from Jakarta. It's difficult to sleep here with mosquitoes nearby. I worked in a hotel in Jakarta. It was called what was it called now? Borobudur. Big hotel, massive swimming pool at the back. They had a nightclub in there called the Music Room. I don't know if it's still there. Kiwi Chris. Hi, Peter. I watched 2 videos on your Honda ADV 160 earlier. Looks like a good balance between city and adventure riding. Do you still have the same bike, and do you still recommend it? Oh, absolutely. Here in Hua Hin, there's a waiting list because they're so popular that down here you'll have to wait for them. But no, I can't fault it. I had a Honda Click. I had the special edition. So for me, coming out here, you always need a scooter. Wherever you go, Patiri, wherever it is, you've just got that freedom when you've got a scooter. And it's always been automatic for me to get the Honda Click. It used to be 125 in the old days, but you'd struggle to buy a 125 now because they all sell the 160. And I was quite happy with my Honda Click. It was okay. I thought it was a good bike. But as soon as I changed over, my friend Steve bought the ADV 160. And I said, can I ride it up the street? I rode it up to the end of Soy 8 and back, and that was it. I went straight to Honda. They only had one in there. That was the green one I've got. And I said, I have it. I sold my Honda Click to my friend Bob for about 50,000. So I think I lost about 10,000 on that. And it's fantastic. The difference between that and the Click is lots of minor details, but you won't think about. But when you're riding position, it feels like you're on a motorbike. Whereas on a Honda Click, it's like this, and you have to kind of pull your shoulders in to look in the mirror. On the ADV, you're sitting like this, and you just twist your head, and you can see in the mirror. It's higher off the ground. It's got dual disc brakes, whereas the Click only had the drum on the back. The Click's got one spring, so you go over a bump in the road and you feel it. The Honda ADV's got 2 shock absorbers, so it's kind of like, you're almost floating over. And you don't have to get off the bike and lift the seat to fill the petrol because the petrol's in the front in between your legs. So it means you've got double the capacity under the seat. So that's another bonus. It's got a rev counter on it. The Click hasn't got a rev counter on it. It's got a nice digital display. Fantastic. But I paid 103 for mine, brand new. I don't know about the PBX, the Yamaha, and them sort of things because I've never tried them. I've always liked the reliability of Honda. I nearly bought a motorbike the other day. There's a shop here that sells Chinese motorbikes, and there's a guy went up to a bar I go to quite often earlier, the Klansman. A guy called Raymond. He's bought this Chinese bike. It's a 250, 2 pipes, you know, and he's 27,000 miles on it. And he only paid about £800 for it, $900. So I went along to this shop, and they got a white one in there, which was 41,000, but it only done 4,000 miles. Nice looking bike, you know. And I said, can I have it? I rode it up the street, but it was, you know, you don't realize how nimble and light the scooters are. You know, you look at a motorbike and think, oh, I wouldn't mind that. But going from a scooter onto a proper motorbike, so heavy. You know, of course, you've got 6-speed gears, 1 down, 5 up. And I rode it and I thought, no, I don't really want this. And I came home on my ADV and I thought, yeah, this is nice. You know, I went down to Pattaya from Sukhumvit with my girlfriend on the back and back again, obviously. Me and my mate Steve, we went from Soi 8 in Bangkok all the way down to Kanchanaburi. That's 3.5 hours. Fantastic. No problems at all. Cruising at about 90 kilometers. And that wasn't full whack, about 110 out of it. Okay. Where did we leave off? Vlog in vain. What camera do you usually use for your videos? I've got several cameras. It depends what I'm doing. Let me just say thank you to, I think is Perbert. Yeah. Think all the problems you see in videos don't come from any particular group. It's broke people that do dumb things. True. There's a lot of them in Pattaya as well. And thanks for the super chat as always. Right. Okay. Let's get back to that comment there. Where were we? I've lost you. You're on screen. Go a bit slower. Hang on. There we are. Right. What camera do you use? So I've got, if I do my background film and I'm just walking around and I want to be a bit inconspicuous, I've got the, I've got it here actually, the DJI 2 because it's very small. It's that one, look. So I'll turn that on. You can't see a lot at the screen, but you see that's what I walk along with. So I'll twist that the other way. Why is it not going? I have to turn it off. Hang on. Now I'm losing all my settings now. I turn bloody thing off. I haven't done any background videos for ages. So if I turn it on from here. Yeah, so that's what people see. So I walk down. Let me take this the thing off. So I walk down the street like that, you know, very inconspicuous. And it's good quality, you know. I do. I get about an hour's battery life out of that. So let's put that back over there. I always keep it on charge in case if we get a day where it's not too hot, I might go out and do a bit of filming on the background. I did some nice filming down the railway station. Actually, accidentally deleted it. What else we got here? Where is it? So then I went out and bought the DJI 3, which I've hardly used, but this one films really good at night, but it's bigger and it's got a spare battery. A spare battery. There you go. And the good thing about this one, so if I turn that on, it's been so long, I can't even remember how to turn it on. About 21,000 baht, this one. So the good thing about this one, you can actually see the screen and it goes that way as well. Don't think you can see anything. But yeah, this is a very popular vlogger's camera. But the reason I bought this is because it does good night recording. And then all my stories and where does that go? Forgot how it goes now. Yeah, all the stories I do on a Saturday morning, I just use my my Samsung phone. You know, the problem is my laptop can't handle more than 1080. It can't handle 4K. It's just the process is just not fast enough, even though it's a iCore 7. It just can't handle it. Funny enough, I did a video of the Klansman last week, and the nighttime scenes came out terrible. The video was good, but the nighttime scenes were terrible. So I went out and I bought the new. I had to bite the bullet. I had the Samsung S22, and I was going to buy the S26, which has got 50 pixel camera. But I went out and bought this bad boy. It's the Ultra, Samsung Ultra. I bought that 2 weeks ago, 47,000 baht. I mean, that's a lot of money for a phone, isn't it? But the camera's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And then obviously for my live streams, I've got a Nexigo webcam camera here, which is 1080. There you go. You can go off and buy it all now. Aussie Mike. Hi, Peter. Cost of living in Australia is ridiculous. Past 7 years, I've come to Thailand two, sometimes 3 times a year. We're nearly 7 months in this year. Still haven't been. This is why Thailand. Let's cut you off. Probably popular, you're going to say. It's the same in the UK. In fact, I had a friend who I haven't spoken to for a while. He called me up. He's a taxi driver in England. He called me up, and we were just talking about the UK. And he's Indian, actually. His heritage is Indian. So his mother and father came to the UK in the 50s. He was born here. Obviously, speaks the same as me, and he's a regular guy, a nice guy. But he says, because of the trouble of things that have been going on around the world and in the UK, he says people just don't talk to him anymore. They just on their playing on their phones and stuff, whereas they used to get in and hold a conversation with him, But he was telling me it's pretty grim in the UK now. He said everybody's kind of fed up of their bills and the taxes, and now Rachel Reeves wants to put 22% tax onto your ISAs, which were tax-free. It's just miserable, isn't it? Rick, it's even more expensive in Europe, yet you don't see European guys happily paying the high prices. Okay. I think the big difference is, I was talking with somebody about this the other day. So when you're in, like here, because it is so cheap here, we go out every night. I mean, it's rare. I had dinner at home yesterday because I was going to meet Simon, and he doesn't like to go out early. He wanted to go out about 7:30, and I don't like to eat after 6 because it sits in my stomach. So I made myself some spaghetti, and I had this tin of Prego cheese and herb sauce, it's like a thick soup. I didn't have anything to put in it. It was all right. I ate it anyway. It's gone now. And in the UK, I would never eat out. Very rare. On the kid's birthday, we might go for a pizza or a Chinese buffet, something like that. One Christmas, I booked a Christmas lunch in a pub, which was a bad decision because the chicken they served us, or the turkey, was reformed slices like you used to get in the 70s, like luncheon meat, right? But we see everything at home. And when you buy it from a supermarket, you've got the cheaper supermarkets like Aldi, which is very, very good. And you look for the bargains, and they do discounts, buy one, get one for free. So, it was possible to kind of live, when I was there, fairly cheap in the UK if you were really careful. But the big difference out here, why you spend more, is because there's more to spend your money on out here. And even though it's cheap, I mean, I go out every single night. That's the bacon I had. And it's like today, normally I don't eat breakfast, and lunch I just have a bit of toast or something at home, or a soup. But Simon's here. So I drove into town and we ordered a full English at a place. It wasn't a huge, the only bad thing about it was the toast was sweet. The bread was sweet. But other than that, it was good. But I bought Simon breakfast as well. With a tip, it was 480 baht, But, my girlfriend and I, we go out to a local market here, Luna Market. It's quite near our house, very close, actually. I'll have 2 changs, 70 baht for a big bottle, where I was paying, up to 140 in Bangkok for a small bottle. I'm not talking about Nana either. So I'll get 2. I always have like 2 large bottles of Chang at about 6 o'clock. She'll go and order some kind of noodle dish with pork. I'll order normally, a Thai meal normally. They just do Thai food over there. So, so that's our evening out. So it's 140 for the beer. She spends about 50. What's that? 190. She gets a shake, which is 30 bahts, 190, 220, probably 60 baht for mine, 220, 280. So under 300 baht. What's that in pounds? Let's get the old calculator up. So we'll round it off to 300. So 300 divided by 43 now, isn't it? 43. So yeah, look, I mean, that's £7, just a couple of pence off £7, $8 US. That's 14 Australian dollars. So, you go out, you couldn't go out in the UK, even if you went to Weatherspoons, have 2 pints of beer and 2 meals for £7, right? You couldn't do it. And even when we go out for a nice Indian meal, because I found a good one here it's not in town. It's about 3 miles from our house, but it's on a par with the new Bakara in Bangkok where I used to go. And, we'll share a meal because I'm on the injections. I can't eat a lot. That's the thing with the injection. You don't feel hungry. And when you do eat food, you can only eat a little bit. And I'll pay for a meal for the 2 of us, like 550 baht. And it's very, very good. Herbert says, don't think your videos need to go beyond 1080. No, I mean, that's acceptable, isn't it? But you watch some guys' videos, like there's a guy down in Pattaya, he rides a bicycle and he I forget his name now, grey goatee beard, nice guy apparently. Is it David Stratham? That might be his name. He goes around, he films the bars and stuff, but it's really high quality filming. So he's obviously filming in 4K, and he's obviously got a computer that can handle it, because when he uploads it, when I watch his, I don't watch his videos, but when I've come across them, you know, they're just so clear, and there's a few people who do that. Right, vlog in vain. Are there certain foods or snacks you really miss from the UK? Nothing at all. Nothing. There's nothing I can think of, because you can get it all here now. You know, you can get Snickers and I don't eat sweets, but I'm just giving you an example. Snickers, Mars bars, Bovril, Marmite. So I'm giving you examples of some of the more outlandish stuff. I buy Robinson's orange squash with no added sugar. You can get everything, even the American gear, you know, a Hershey's chocolate. And I can't think of anything that I used to eat in England. And I think, you know, you can get fish and chips everywhere. You can get a roast everywhere. Yeah, there is one thing I miss a little bit. And there is a place here I haven't tried. I've been told it's good. I do miss a Chinese style Chinese takeaway. You know, in the UK, when you get a Chinese takeaway, it's done in a certain way they all cook the same, the UK Chinese shops. And when you order a Chinese takeaway, it's got that certain taste to it, that, you know, a bit of MSG in there, you know, never hurt anyone. And I do miss that. But there is a place here called Happy Wok, and somebody told me that place was good. They make the Chinese food like they have it in England. So every now and again, because I used to eat Chinese food about once every couple of weeks, you know, I used to like a chicken and bamboo shoots, you know, and some fried rice, and yeah, nice. Perbit says prices are pretty stupid in LA too. McDonald's is now priced like mid-level restaurant. I've noticed a shrinkage here in Western restaurants. Like in McDonald's, for instance, a beef patty used to be about, let's get the old measuring tape out, but I don't want to give out any false information here. And I just happen to have a handy one here. So I'd say, looking at this, I'd say the patty used to be about, I'd say 8 millimeters is fair. So not quite one, right? About 8 millimeters. And I had one the other day, and the patty must have been 5 millimeters. It was like a razor blade, you know. I mean, I don't eat McDonald's as a rule, because, you know, you watch all these videos about McDonald's being left out on the side for a year and it's still edible. But I noticed a shrinkage in the, I mean, the buns used to be big. Do you remember when you bought a quarter pounder? It was a big bun with a big burger in it, and it felt like a quarter pounder. Now it's a regular bun, and the quarter pounder is just about hanging outside of it. Western food tends to be like fast food here in Thailand is expensive. You know, you'll pay about, in McDonald's and Burger King, you'll pay about the same as you do back home. I don't eat fast food as a rule. Every now and again, I'll be in town, I think, do you know what, I really fancy a Big Mac, because they are addictive, aren't they? They're, whatever people say about them, the health, the price, whatever it is, everybody, every now and again, you crave a quarter pounder or a Big Mac or a cheeseburger. Could be once a year, but you get that craving, and because it's addictive. And, you know, I used to crave the Big Mac often, but I try not to eat it now. Last week was the first time I had a McDonald's in probably 8 months. Blimey, my bottle's not going to last me if I keep drinking like this. I shouldn't have had the bacon. Glenn, do you think Hua Hin would it be ideal if you have a partner and this is why it could be perceived as too quiet? Well, it's actually perfect if you've got a partner here. It isn't quiet here at all. People who say it's too quiet in Hua Hin, it's not true. There's two massive malls here, which are really good. One of them's got a big sea in it that caters to foreign foods and stuff. You can get everything. You've got all the beach restaurants and bars. You've got a lot of night markets spread out everywhere. I mean, there's so much to do as far as eating and drinking. You've got beautiful beaches. If you've got transport, you've got even more beautiful beaches. And if you're with a partner, it's nice because you've got the company. So I'm living 8 miles west of the central Hua Hin. So it's a little Thai village I'm living in. You know, I'm looking out here now. All I can see is coconut trees on the other side of the fence and weeds that are coming up I'll have to get rid of. And it's ideal. You know, she's doing her thing. I'm doing my thing. But if you came here on your own, it could be a bit, you could get a bit lonely. Yeah, it's not really a single man's town, I don't think. Mind you, saying that, there's plenty of single guys I've met here who just like to chill out. You know, they don't like the bars in Pattaya. Barry, hi Peter, back in the UK for summer, found some good music venues in Hua Hin, El Toro, Woodstock, Blues and Rock, nice food, Rock Zone was good too, and prices were reasonable. Yeah, they've got live bands here. I mean, I did a video on the Hard Rock Cafe a few weeks ago. I I'm just not into loud music anymore. I mean, I don't want to sound like a stick in the mud, you know, a party pooper, as they say. But you know, I'm 66 now, and I keep talking about this subject. We keep saying the same thing. You know, when I was younger, I was going out to Soy Cowboy Nana, without getting into detail because I've already mentioned it. But you get to a certain stage in your life where, you know, loud music is just noise. You know, staying out late at night is just it's just tiring. You know, I mean, I'm going to go to the gym today at 5 o'clock, and I'll just go on the running machine for half an hour. It's 80 baht. I'll try and get a bit fitter. Mark over there on Facebook, how you doing? Glad you could get in. I haven't had any abuse from Facebook today. That's unusual. I don't know what it is with Facebook. There's so many people that give me abuse on there. Barry Bluebird, good morning, Peter, from the wonderful hot UK. That's good. I do miss one thing about England. Well, I miss a couple of things really, but no, I don't lay awake at night thinking about it. But what I used to really like was taking my dog Benji, the beagle, and I lived on the outskirts of a market town, you know. So if you think of the town, if you think of that as a town, then I kind of lived along that line there, and then this was all countryside. And what I used to like to do was I used to take him on a Sunday about 2 o'clock when it wasn't raining, and we'd go over farmland and through forest, over rivers. And, you know, I'd walk him for about 5 miles, 6 miles all afternoon. I'd let him off the lead so he could run. And, you know, the beagle's a sniffing dog. So I'd just walk, and he'd be like so far behind. But when he realized I wasn't there, he'd come galloping back, you know. And it's just so nice and peaceful. You know, you're walking over all this really nice farmland and through wooded areas and nice brooks and rivers. And, yeah, that was nice. That was really nice. 4K URL Droid Superbot. 4K definitely makes a difference when you watch on a large TV. You say that, it definitely does, but I don't watch my own streams now. But in the early days, when I first got this camera up to 1080, I used to do the streams on a Sunday. I used to watch them on my 65-inch TV. Quality was no problem at all. I never, you know, it wasn't. I know what you mean by the HD, but it wasn't like, oh, it's not very good quality. It's pretty good, pretty good. Herbert says, your video should focus on good audio, video less important, I think, for your channel. I don't think the audio is terrible, is it? I know you're not having to pop at me, but I mean, last week I did that video where I took a train ride from Bangkok to Hua Hin. Now, the sound on that wasn't very good because I didn't want to wear a radio mic, and because I have to have if I record on my phone, what it is, I have to put a receiver that sticks out the back here like that. And I've got a mic on, and it's so obvious. And when you're in the close confines of a railway carriage and you want to film inside to show people what it's like, having, you know, a microphone here and something sticking out the camera, it's so obvious. And people don't like the intrusion, okay? So I trusted the phone's microphone because I just wanted to look like another tourist swinging his phone around. That's why I mean, it was audible. You could hear it perfectly well, but it just wasn't, you know, A1, as they say. URL again. Here in the UAE, they have approved semi-glutide tablets. It came in the news. Is there any available? I've got to be honest with you, I haven't got a clue what they are. I've never heard that word before, which is why I had trouble reading it. What are they? Tell us what they are. Mike, I don't know how people upload to YouTube in 4K. I tried uploading a 5-minute 4K video, and it took 8 hours with fast internet. It does take time, yeah. The problem for me, I on this camera, it actually films up to 8K. Can you believe it? 8K. And I actually did, which one was it now? I did a video which was about 20 minutes long, and I actually normally I film in full HD, but I actually filmed it in ultra HD, and I couldn't watch it because every time I cut the video and put another piece in or something, you know what happens when you're in the video editing software and you've got your video on a track and you're watching it and you want to remove a part, so you cut here, you put the bits together, and you might put what they call a transition in the middle, so it's kind of like phase in, so you don't just have like a cut. And then what you do is you go back and you play it just to make sure it looks good. But when on my laptop, because it's if I do like ultra HD, when it gets to the cut, it just kind of like jutters or freezes, and I can't really watch the video until it's finished. And if there's a mistake in it, I have to do it all over again. So yeah, I won't do HD. Perbit says 10 San Mig lights tell me I need a Big Mac. Yeah. Oh, can you order them there like you can here? I was actually very happy in the week. So I've got a Dell. I had this upgraded. So it's a Dell laptop. It's 16-inch screen, so it's quite big. It's got an iCore i7 in it, and it had 16 megabytes of RAM in it. The most you can put in it is 32. So when I got here, I took it up to Fortune Town, which is where they do all the electronics, and I had the RAM upgraded from. It had two slots of 8, and he changed it to 2 slots of 16, which cost me 2,000 baht, and he bought my old RAM for 500 baht each. So it cost me 1,000 baht basically, or was it 2,000? It cost me 2,000. And it's been great. And I noticed it was getting a bit hot. And one of the hinges has come loose and the screen was dropped. And I thought, I'm never going to be able to get that fixed. And I took it to a local repair shop here in Hua Hin, and he did a fantastic job on it. But because I said I wanted it for tomorrow, like the next day, he said, hang on, before you go, I've got a picture for you. He showed me a picture, and the 3 fans inside it are like 80% blocked with dust. Okay, so I'm taking it back on Tuesday. He's going to charge me 1,000 baht, but he's going to take it to bits, and he's going to clean all the dust and manky stuff out of it. And that's why it's getting so hot, because it just can't cool down. But I've got one of these. You can get them in Thailand. It's the same size as a laptop, but your laptop sits on top of it, and it's got 6 fans in it, so it blows cold air or room temperature air up. I think without that, it would just cut out. It would overheat. Vlogging vein. What do you think you would be doing if you didn't start doing YouTube? I think I'd always be on some kind of social media. I've always been okay with the internet. If I don't know, if I had to take up a hobby, I'd probably travel more. That's what I'd do, because having a YouTube channel, you think, oh well, you can travel and film and stuff, but it does restrict you, because the filming is only a very small part of it. And what takes up 90% of my time is not filming. That's easy. You go out and you shoot the film, but then you've got to come back and you've got to edit it. You've got to proof it. You've got to do all the SEO, the hashtags. You've got to make a thumbnail. I've noticed a lot of the thumbnails on YouTube. I was using AI to make thumbnails, and they look really good. But what I've noticed is now everybody's using the same AI. And when you look on YouTube, every single one of those AI thumbnails, they look good, but they all look the same now. And what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to make thumbnails from scratch rather than AI, because I was using AI, but they just all look the same. Bangkok Pat sent me 4 of them the other day. He said, look at this. He sent me an email with a line message with 4 thumbnails from 4 different channels, and they're exactly the same. You know, same colors, same style, same. You know, you couldn't tell the difference other than the wording. So, yeah. Ken. Peter, I find it hard to find a good pizza in a Hua Hin, and they're not cheap. Oh, not at all. You must be joking. Okay. Bangkok Po, the biggest market in town, which is cheap food. They have the live band and stuff. Any pizza, 100 baht. 10-inch pizza, 100 baht. Market Village, you'll get a margarita down there for 118 baht, I think it is. That's in the food court. There's a very, very good high quality pizza you'll get, but you'll pay for it. And that's just, you know where the Hilton Hotel is? One of the side streets there's an Italian restaurant. I forget the name of it. Roma, it's called. It's always full every night. Fantastic pizza. Where else did I get good pizza in my local market? A bit pricey, but good pizza. But no, that you can get good pizza here. They got the pizza in Market Village. You've got the pizza factory, is it, or the pizza company? Yeah, you can get cheap pizza here, Ken. If you, I think because I live here, I know all these places, but. Yeah, there is cheap pizza here. I mean, if you're over in the tourist area near the Hilton, it's twice the price over there. Perbert, your audio is fine. That's the important part of your channel. Okay. Joe Guitar says, actually, MSG is not good for you at all. It's essentially like sodium, so too much of it is bad. Yeah, well, we know that, but I mean, it's like anything, isn't it? If you eat a Chinese meal every day, then yeah, it's going to be very, very bad for you. But if you have 2 a month, it's not going to, yeah, it's not good for you, but it's not going to really hurt you, is it? It's like that guy. Did you see that documentary called Super Size Me, where the guy ate nothing but McDonald's for a month, and he put on weight, and all his blood pressure went up, and all the rest of it. I'm just looking at my CCTV here because the poster's come. But let me just tell her. Son. Nah, she must be outside. Just make sure she grabs it because he can't get in. Bloody hell! What's she bought now? Every day the post delivers something here. And I keep saying to her, stop bloody ordering things, mainly for the garden, you know, but he's just pulled a big box out the back. Yeah, I'm going to have to go and tell her. He'll probably ring her. Give me a minute, guys. So. Come. Oh dear, oh dear. Come on, Bingo, in. Oh, I'm an idiot. No wonder she's not answering me. I forgot she's gone to the market, hasn't she? I'm looking, thinking, where is she? I've got 4 cameras there all around the house. And she's not answering, but she's gone to the market. Oh, I'm out of breath now. Right. Okay, we were talking about the MSG, right? Yeah. So then I was talking about the guy who made the documentary, Super Size Me. But I think that was a bit unfair on McDonald's because, yeah, it wasn't good. But the thing is, I think if he'd have gone on any fast food, had it been KFC, Burger King, Wendy's, the results would have been the same, right? So he kind of picked up McDonald's and he got the point across. But I think that would have happened for any of the fast foods. Oh, God, I'm so unfit. I just legged it down to the gate. It's actually quite far from here. Right. Okay, Robert, I don't mind seeing the microphone if it's Rode or something, but not if it's a Chinese brand like DJI. DJI is really popular. Very, very good mics. They're very good. They're really at the top. They're at the top of the vloggers or people who do social media. Just so happens this microphone here is Rode. That costs 12,000 baht, but guys have the microphone here, don't they? You can see like they have a microphone on the desk, but I like the microphone to be out of sight. If I swung it forward, you see, that's a Rode. But I like it out like that. There we are. Right. URL. Your weight loss injections that you're taking in. Oh, okay. Is semaglutide, aka GP. Okay, I know what you're talking about now. I was thinking you might like pills rather than the jabs. Okay, so I haven't inquired about them. I don't know if they're available here, but what would make me switch over to them is if they were cheap, because the price of the injections are outrageous. You know, a 4-week course of 5 milligrams, which I'm on now, is 14,500 baht. And just to put that in perspective, let's get the old calculator out again. 14,000. No, it's 14,500. Okay, let's do it right this time. Right, divided by, what did we say, 43? Okay, so that's £337 a month, which is about nearly $400. So you can say $100 a month, but to anybody who's English, divided between 4 for the weeks. So it's costing me £84 a week, and it's not foolproof. I mean, it's not like you go on it and you're going to just magically lose all the weight, because you still, I still drink beer, I still eat, but I am losing it, but very, very slowly. I was up to about 109. I'm now down to about 105. But the thing is, I stopped the walking. When I was in Bangkok, I was doing a lot of walking. I was in Benji Park for at least an hour, sometimes 2 hours. You walk around there, massive park, and lots of eye candy, as it were, And here, because of the soy dogs and everything, I just haven't been walking. But I found a really good gym, and I think today the problem is, I keep saying I'm going to go to the gym, and you just think, oh, I can't be bothered today. But once you go on that first time and you've done it, then you get into the routine. You think, oh, I want to go tomorrow and everything. I'm only going to go on the running machine, just brisk walking, just get the old heart pumping a bit. I will go today. Robert says the pills are less effective. Okay. It's a good idea to vacuum your fans out periodically. The problem is they're inside. I don't know if I can get inside. I don't know if I'm got the tools to actually get inside the thing. I think what I'll do, though, I think I'll take it to him once. Well, I don't know if I have it that long. I think I can. I've had it for 3.5 years now. I think I'm going to get at least another 18 months out of it. So what I'll do, I'll wait a year and take it to him and get it done again. It's a very good little shop. Peter, what's up with the weather there in Bangkok? Low season, not a lot of rain from Edward. I don't know about Bangkok because I'm in Hua Hin, but I can tell you this isn't. We're in the rainy season, but this isn't the strongest months. So what's happening at the moment here, what I notice is different in Hua Hin compared to Bangkok, was in Bangkok, it would start raining at, say, 4 o'clock, and it wouldn't stop until, say, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, if it stopped at all. But what at the moment, the pattern here is it normally starts raining about 2:30 in the afternoon, really hard, and then it stops about 5, which is perfect because I'm at home at that time most of the time. And then when we go out to eat on the motorbike, on the scooter, 6 o'clock, there's no rain. But what you'll find is the more we get into summer, the worse it's going to. You'll get torrential rain in Bangkok. It will start pouring down. The strongest months for the rain are probably September and October, and then it starts to ease off in the middle of the November. But when you get to those months, you'll notice a drastic change. Now it's just, it's nothing at the moment. Holden fan, hey Peter, did you figure out what the issue was with your aircon the other week? Yeah, what it was is because I couldn't hear it. Why couldn't I hear it? What did I do that was different? I think, yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the aircon. I was imagining it, it's because I had the fan on quite high and I couldn't hear it, and it's got an inverter, so it automatically shuts off when the room's the temperature you want it to be at. But yeah, it's working fine. It's under guarantee anyway. Dog says, women love to spend money worldwide. Yeah, she's pretty good, my girlfriend. She's not. You know what? I was trying to explain to somebody the difference between most Western women, and don't get offended if your wife's from England or somewhere, but I was trying to explain the difference between Western women and Thai women having those old-fashioned values. I mean, there's a lot of nice Western women as well. I don't want to put down all Western women and paint them all the same brush, but we all know now there's a lot of Western women who are. They're just lazy. They've got kids. They've got divorced, but there's some people who've got wives who are pretty decent and look after them. So let's just leave it at that. But I was trying to explain to somebody the other day, and here's a really good example. So I was talking to somebody on the phone, and this is going to make me sound like a total alcoholic now. I was talking to somebody on the phone, and we thought today was going to be a dry day in Hua Hin. I had the speakerphone on. I was talking to him, and he said, "Oh yeah, tomorrow's going to be a dry day." And I was like, oh, I'll have to go shopping then because I've got nothing in. And I didn't think anything more of it. And she'd gone out to the market, and she came back and she had a bottle of whiskey and a case of beer on her bike. And I'm like, wow, she lifted it in, unpacked it all, put it all away. And yeah, it's amazing. I was just thinking about my ex-wife there. She used to, I used to have to hide it from her, and she used to tip it down the sink. I said, what do you do that for? Cost 20 quid for that bottle of whiskey. Like, I'd hide it and she'd like tip it down the sink. I don't remember that, Sean. You said the three doctors told supersized guy to stop after about 3 weeks, I believe, or he would die. Yeah, but I mean, so much salt in fast food, isn't there? Gringo Pappy, is Binto a fan of water? He could enjoy himself in doggy pool, John. So, oh yeah, one of his favorite games is I don't have to do it now because it's a rainy season, but when I used to water the grass every night at about 5:36, I'd put it in obviously you have it in a spray like that, but to let him play a little bit, I used to put it in a jet and go up the garden and down the garden, and he'd run after it. And when I actually held it still, he'd be like, not bad impression of Binto, but he'd be like snapping at the water, great exercise and cooled him down. Hi to Star Seed. Hope you're doing well. Dan67, touch on Simon Peter, Carmen yet? Touch on Simon Peter. I don't get it. What are you trying to say? Touch on Simon Peter, Carmen yet? I don't know. Vlog in vain. I often saw you in Benja Kitty with your white outfit since I live nearby. I should have said hello. We could have walked around together. Do you know what? I get recognised so much down here. I've said this before. I went out last night and 5 different guys approached me and said, "Oh, what's your channel?" And every day that goes by, I get. I had a couple of 2 of the guys who own bars in town. I can't remember the name of the first bar, or the second bar actually. But one was an Australian guy, one was a British guy, and then I had an American guy who was eating in one bar. He came out on the road and he said, "Oh yeah, what's your channel?" And yeah, it's amazing because Hua Hin isn't that big. Robert, is that Monjaro 5 milligram 4 doses in Oz is 390 Australian dollars? It's cheaper there than it is here. Jim, how you doing? I was just explaining at the beginning of the stream about our night out in Soy Cowboy and the price of ladies' drinks, 480 baht. Wow. Hence, we didn't buy any ladies' drinks. Hey then, how you doing? Uncle Willie, chewing on chicken foot, next couple of dumplings. Oh, God, that used to make my stomach churn. You know, they did that a lot in China. They'd have the chicken feet and they'd be, and I used to feel like really, where's that? Hello from Finns. I can't pronounce that. What is it? Finsanaluk. Where's that? That's not in Thailand, is it? Perbert Peter, tomorrow you said alcohol starts at 6 p.m. No, what it is, they're having local elections, and I thought it was going to be all over Thailand, and I was going to announce it so people knew. But apparently, it's only going to be Bangkok and Pattaya. And last night we were asking about it to some of the bar owners, and they don't know nothing about it. So if they were not selling alcohol here, they would know about it, and they don't know anything about it. So I think it will be okay tonight. But if you're in Pattaya or Bangkok, I think it's 6 p.m. tonight is a shut-off period, and then it starts again 6 p.m. Sunday. Must be terrible for somebody who arrives in Bangkok on holiday, you know, tonight. So he touches down, you know, 3:30, 4 o'clock. Normally the international flights come in from Europe. And, you know, he gets to his hotel, unpacks, has a shower, thinks I'll go over down to Soi 4 now, have a couple of beers and people watch. Gets there and they say, oh, no, there's no drinking today. Goes to 7-Eleven to get a drink. No, can't sell it today. I mean, I know places where you can get drinks, but, you know, I don't want to say here, but, you know, it must be terrible for a tourist who comes in and he didn't know it was a dry day and he goes out for a beer and there's nothing, you know, I mean, it must be horrible. Like getting it in Thailand, etc. Okay, Robert. Lusty 444. I don't know if it's just up here, but the bloody dust in this country, it's very dusty. You know, I'm always playing with my nose. You know, I've got a pack of tissues here, really cheap ones. My girlfriend bought a pack of 12 for horrible things. But anyway, I'm always like blowing and I get a rough throat, but not as bad as Bangkok. I remember being in Bangkok. And I was talking like, you know, really gruff throat. It's so much better down here than in Bangkok as far as clean air goes. I can't read your username. That's okay. Hi, Peter. How's business doing at Superfish? Hope they're doing well. Take care. I'll be honest with you. They are doing well. I mean, I found out something from the owner that I don't really want to announce here because he might want to keep it to himself for now, but they're doing very well. I don't go in there, not because I don't like it. I love fish and chips, but I'm trying. I know I told you I had a full English this morning, but I'm trying to stay away from kind of oily, greasy food. You know, I used to like to eat onion rings when I was out, or a plate of chips, French fries, you know, and I don't eat that sort of stuff anymore. So when I go out to markets, okay, I have a treat now again, like I had the full English this morning, but tonight I'll have something very light, you know, maybe a soup and a salad, something like that. So I don't really know, and I know the owner, obviously, James, so occasionally I'll pop in there on the way back because they're on the same highway that's on the way to my house, and I'll pop in and I'll have a plate of those big chunky chips, you know, with Sarson's vinegar on them as a treat, but not too often. But as far as I know, they're doing pretty good. They've got a good catchment area because where they are, they're halfway into town, and not as far out as we are, but they're about halfway into town. And there's a lot of gated communities with foreigners living around there. So, and they'll do takeaway as well, you know, with Grab. Is that Marie? Monjaro, 15 milligrams in Australia is $700. Well, yeah, the higher dosage you get, the more expensive it's going to be. I didn't even know you could get 15 milligrams. The pharmacy I go to, he's on 7.5 milligrams. Steve Steve Op, is it? Hello, any recommendations for an agency in Jomtien Pattaya for all my visa and license things? Thanks very much. Yeah, I always used to recommend Mark from One Stop Visa. He's in Soy 6, right at the bottom, the infamous Soy 6. But I take it he's been sick for a while now, but his partner Pom is very, very good, and they got staff, but he's straight. He'll get it all done for you. You just go down. I wouldn't bother emailing them because, like I say, he answers all the emails, but he's on medication, and sometimes he doesn't get back to people as fast as they want. So you can go to him in Soy 6, and there's lots of other agencies in Pattaya that you can go to if you can't get any joy with Mark. Just don't pay any money out online. Oh, my neighbour's back from Bangkok. House next door, we're very lucky. They only come one day a week. Mari, I've read that out, haven't I? Yeah. Yeah, Gringo Pop send One Stop as well. Holden fan. Hi, Peter. Saw your videos on your recent visit in Bangkok. Have you noticed any changes since you have moved to Hua Hin? Yeah. The first thing I noticed was that big, huge McDonald's on the end of Soy 11. That wasn't there when I lived in Soy 8. You know, when you come out of Soy 8, right there on that corner, you've got 7-Eleven on that corner and McDonald's in the other corner. I noticed that. Not so much changes, but what I noticed is it just seemed really crowded when I was out. You know, I had to stop. People were in the way, you know, especially along Sukhumvit between 3 and Asok, you know, Soy 3 and Asok. You're walking along there in the evening, you have to stop and dodge push chairs and people looking at stores, and that doesn't happen down here, you know, because when you're walking, you just walk normally like I would in the UK. Driving down here, I drive like I would in the UK, but in Bangkok, I just noticed the amount of people, you know, because it's a city, obviously. And when I lived there, I didn't really notice it, but after living here for 7 months and then going back up there, I did notice it. And yeah, I mean, it really enforced on me that I made the right decision to come here, because sometimes I do get a little bit bored down here in Hua Hin. Not because there's anything wrong with Hua Hin, just, you know, I'm retired, and sometimes I finish a video at 3 o'clock and I don't want to go into town. I'm thinking, oh, what should I do now? Especially when she was working. She worked down here for about 3 months, and now she doesn't work. And you know, and I kind of think, oh, did I make the right decision? But going up to Bangkok this time to meet Jim. Yeah, I mean, when I was up there, I stayed in a hotel in Soy 8. It was a bit grubby, and I went out at night, and the prices, you know, the thing I did enjoy, I went round to the Red Lion, because that's an old haunt of mine, the Red Lion in Soy 13. And I like the girls who work in there. They're very good. You know, like I said to you before, they have a happy hour all night on a Monday. So you can get like a pint of draft Chang, Tiger, Leo, 99 baht, and for Bangkok that's very, very cheap. And the rest of the days the happy hour is up to 7 p.m. But what the girls used to do, they used to come up to me at 5 to 7 and say, look, do you want any more? And I'd say, yeah, I'll have another 2. And they didn't bring them out, but they were rung up on the till as happy hour drinks. And if I stayed there till 10 o'clock and I drank 2 more beers, then I only paid 99 baht for them. So you know, it was good popping in there again. Is it Melvin? Hello from South Africa. We will be arriving in Hua Hin in 2 weeks. Where is the safest beach to swim? Well, you know, the thing is, Hua Hin hasn't got the best beach in the world. There's rocks and stuff there. I'm talking right in the middle of Hua Hin, where the Hilton is. That's kind of like the main touristy beach area. But if you've got any transport, you know, if you've got a car or you rent a car or your motorcycle, within 20 minutes, half an hour, there's some beautiful, beautiful beaches. You can, I won't give you a list. You can look them up on Google, ChatGPT. Just put, you know, most beautiful beaches near Hua Hin, and you'll get a list. But you know, when you get to the beach in Hua Hin, you know, they've got chairs you can pay to sit in all day, and you know, there's food stalls and you can drink, but it isn't the most beautiful beach in the world. When you look at it, I don't know if it's good to swim in or not. I rarely swim. I've just found out this gym I'm going to go to, they've got a nice big pool outside, so I might be using that. But don't let it put you off. Gringo Pappy, one-stop visa on Soy 6 Pattaya, recommended by Peter. Absolutely. Mark's a really down-to-earth guy. You know, he's an English guy. His partner's Thai, obviously. And, you know, there's no BS comes from him. What you see is what you get. Vlog in vain. Do you sometimes get scared of aging? The older I get, the more it scares me. I don't get scared of aging because what I get scared of, because I haven't got insurance. I'm looking into getting insurance because I have found a company now that will insure me. But they'll only insure me for a heart attack if I have low blood pressure. So I'm waiting for them to get back to me, because the question I asked is, well, for me to prove that I didn't have, say I take out the insurance, in 3 years' time I have a heart attack, and I can prove to them that I've had low blood pressure, because I have, because I'm on a statin and I'm losing weight. You know, how do I prove that to them? Can I keep a daily log and put it in a spreadsheet, or a weekly log rather? Or would they insist to go to a doctor's once a month and I have an official blood pressure test, and get a certificate written out that what it is, and keep them in a folder? And they're just taking forever to get back to me. So if I find out how I can prove that, then there's a good chance I'll be fully insured. It is scary. I read a story the other day about an Australian guy who was here, a similar position to me. He wasn't a YouTuber, but similar position. Financially, he was doing okay. He was like me. He wasn't rich. He wasn't poor. He had enough to live a nice life here. He had a heart attack. He had to go into hospital for 2 months. I don't know why 2 months. He had 2 stents put in, and, you know, with a daily cost, and it wiped him out. 3 million baht, you know, if you don't have insurance. That kind of scares me, because you know, that's probably about, you know, that'd wipe me out. 3 million baht. I mean, it's, you know, I don't know if I'd be able to stay here then. I've got income coming in the UK as well, but it's, you know, that's the scary thing. As you get older, I mean, I had another cancer spot stuck out. I mean, you can see here, that was last week. It's healing now. I don't know if you can see that, but, you know, I had this is from the sun. It's not the cancer that eats you up, but I had one there. I had one there, all cut out in Bangkok. I had one here. Now, luckily, I know what to look for, and I felt it. And I went to see a dermatologist here in Hua Hin, and the guy I seen, a young guy, he was actually trained by the guy who took care of me in Bangkok in the Christian hospital. And he looked at it, and he's got a kind of, it's almost like a pen, a big pen he puts on it, and it comes up on his computer screen, and he's looking at it. He says, yeah, it's pre-cancer. And what he did, he put acid on a pin, and he put acid on it, and it's scarred up, but I can feel the lump has gone now. But it's just scarring a little bit, and I've got to go see him in another 2 weeks. And, you know, you get worried. I got a little lump come up on this side. I can't actually see it now. And I thought, oh, I got another one, but it hasn't, because that's gone down. You know, so I am a bit paranoid about it. You know, I'm paranoid about dementia. My mother got dementia. You know, she was 70 when she was 75. She was as sharp as a razor, as they say. You know, I used to walk with her and her dogs on Hampstead Heath. She was Irish, you know, a real traditional Irish woman. She used to have all the jokes, the dirty jokes and stuff. You know, she'd have a drink, and, you know, 6 months later, she didn't even know who I was. And she was saying, oh, you know, her husband would be coming home for dinner soon. And not my dad, he'd been remarried. And that scares me, because although I've got my girlfriend here, and I'm pretty sure, you know, I've got the right one, you just never know what your circumstances are going to be in the future, do you? Caught my nail on something. So yeah, I mean, we've all got to get old, haven't we? You know, I mean, there are guys who live to be 100 and they never get dementia, but I don't think I'm going to be one of them. Okay, that's fine. Can you get Manjaro in Thailand? Yeah, the thing is, when you come in for the first time, you've got to see a doctor, because if you've had diabetes, they won't let you have it, because I don't know, it affects you somehow. But what you've got to do, you've got to go. You haven't got to go to hospital. You go to like one of these clinics, and you say, I want to go on the Manjaro. They'll take a blood test. They'll ask you a bunch of questions. So it's quite expensive, the first one you get, because you've got to pay for the doctor's what do they call it, consultation, and also the medical blood tests and what have you. And that's really annoying me. I want to get the nail clippers now, but I won't leave the stream to clip my nails. I have to just focus. Put my hand over there. So yeah, but it's widely available, both of them. I used to be on the other one, the one that begins with I can't pronounce it. Ozo, you know the one I mean, right? But the good thing about this one that I'm on now, the Manjaro, not only does it make you lose weight, it takes away cravings. So I used to really look forward to a drink at 6 o'clock. My first beer be, yeah, that's nice, and I still enjoy it, but a lot of the nights now, I'm like, oh, I'm not fussed if I have it or not. And that's because of the Manjaro. Mary, thank you very much for that compliment. I appreciate that. Travel Gamer 87, I cheated on my Thai wife. Not sure how I feel about it. Okay, so I'll give you an opinion, right? Opinions are like backsides. Everyone's got one. I'm allowed to have an opinion. I might be totally wrong. You might disagree with me. The way I look at it is, yeah, when I was younger, I wasn't great. You know, I mean, I think guys are programmed to, you know, I've got to be careful how I say things on YouTube. But at the end of the day, the way I look at it now, I mean, I'm in a good, steady relationship with my Thai girlfriend, and I've had the opportunity to cheat. But would I like her to do it to me? No, I wouldn't. And do I like the trust in our relationship? And I absolutely do. And, you know, there's nothing I need to get outside of our relationship that I'm going to get outside, you know. So I'm not kind of being condescending or looking down on you like that. But I think especially if she's your wife, you know, I mean, yeah, I don't think it's worth it really, unless you're not bothered about her anymore or you're bored with her. Yeah, that's a good one. Gringo says, Travel Gamer, send the story to Peter. Fresh perspective. Yeah, send it in. I'm getting stories now, so it's good. There's a guy on Facebook. He's got 90,000 followers, and he's got the title of his page is something Thailand. And all he does, he waits till I release the stories on a Saturday, then he copies and pastes them into his Facebook. So he doesn't talk or he doesn't do any work. He just takes. So he'll play my story, and you can with Word now, you can set it up so that as it listens to the internet, it will print it all out, and then he just copies and pastes it, and he puts it into his Facebook page. So he's actually got a similar channel to me, but he pinches every single story. I can't do nothing about it because it's Facebook and not YouTube. There's another guy I came across on what was it? It was on Instagram, I think it was, and I'd uploaded a picture to Facebook of a blonde guy, blue eyes, and it was back in the 60s or 70s. It was colour, so it was probably 70s, and there were a bunch of Thai girls around him, and I thought this was a nice picture. I uploaded it on Facebook, and I wrote an article, and it was something like, I wonder what it's like back then. You know, he had blonde hair, blue eyes, girls were fascinated, and this guy just took the picture, and he'd actually copied the word in word for word, and I came across his post on Instagram, and I just left a comment and said, this picture and story has been stolen from Thailand Bound. You know, nothing will happen, but that's social media, isn't it? Some people are just not creative, but they want to get involved. Bijan, greetings from sunny Hua Hin. How you doing? What you doing today? Lusty 444, health insurance and cancer. If you're over 50 and you get it internally, it's in most cases game over. Well, I've done a lot of research on insurance, and from what I gather, I could get insured for cancer, but it wouldn't kick in for 2 years. So in other words, let's just say I took the policy out today. If I got cancer in the next 2 years, I wouldn't be insured for it. But if I got it in year 3, I would be insured for it. Because what happens is, I was talking to the broker about this. What happens a lot of the time is people find out they've got some very bad illness, and then they take out life insurance, and then 3 weeks later they make a claim on it. So that's why a lot of insurance companies now, for the major things, they'll say heart attack, stroke, and cancer, you'll be insured in 2 years' time. So you've got insurance for everything else, but if you get any of those major ones, you know, you've got to have the policy for at least 2 years. Okay, how long we've been going? Oh wow! I tell you what, I said this last week on the streams. You don't realize how fast the time goes. You know, really fast. Okay. What should we do now? Let's have a look. Let's see what Right. Well, I'd like to stay a little longer, but the comments have dried up, and I've got nothing else to say now, and unbelievably, nothing else to talk about. So unless somebody comes up with an idea or something to talk about, I'll probably have to end it here. The last one was Dan67. I'll get my nail clipper because this is driving me mad, and then I'll come back. Oh, wait a minute. I was talking to, I don't think he's in the stream anymore, but Perbert, he lives in California, and for him, it's the stream, it runs late. And he was saying to me one day, he said, I don't know how, because on the Sunday, I'm talking for 3 hours. And he said to me, I don't know how you can keep talking for 3 hours and keep it fresh and, you know, talk about all these different subjects. And I said to him, well, it's easy because, you know, when you got, not on a Saturday, I've only got nearly 150 in, but on a Sunday, I've got close to 300 people in the stream, and comments are coming in thick and fast, and you've got plenty to talk about. Without the comments, unless you've got stuff planned, you know, you run out of stuff to talk about. It's like the members stream. I've got nearly 200 members, but when I do a member stream, sometimes I've only got 40 or 50 members in there. And, you know, it does dry up. The comments dry up. And then what happens is I have to have things ready to talk about. Like I'll print off a lot of quirky news stories, things that have been going on around Thailand. I have a couple of competitions. And that's, I mean, I'm able to pad out the members stream. But that's a lot of work preparing all that. Oh, we've got some comments coming in now. Good old. Okay, 3 from Dan67. Only 1. Okay, thank you. God bless you too. Okay, the Gorm List tweet. Have you had your PSA checked? I don't even know what that is. Let me put it into chat. PSA, Chat GPT. I should know, shouldn't I? Okay. What is PSA? Oh, right, okay, yeah. I had it last done when I was, yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a colon, all that, prostate rather. I had it last done when I was 60. I'm 66 now. So when I was 50, when you get to 50 in the UK, the hospital invites you in, and they poke a camera up your backside, which is extremely uncomfortable, and they fill you with air as well. And that's another funny story. When you come out of there, you know, you nearly blow the door off the toilet when you let it out. But yeah, I had the camera. Then when I'm 60, what you have to do, you have to send a specimen. I hope you're not eating, but you have to send a specimen in on a stick. Like they give you a stick and a test tube, and then you just take a swab of it. And I was clear there, but I was reading about a case of a guy who was stage 4 cancer, prostate cancer, and the doctor was saying that had he checked that regular and they caught it on stage 1 or stage 2, they probably could have saved him. But unfortunately, you know, we all go along thinking we're fine, and I'm seriously thinking about going and having a prostate check, you know, in the hospital soon, because, you know, medicine's wonderful now, isn't it? If you catch things in time, you know, they can sort out most things these days. So it's better to get it. It's like when I went to the dermatologist to have this one done, and the guy said, it's pre-cancer. He said, you've come. He said, I can take this out with acid. I don't even have to cut it out. Because I would have had to go to the government. He works at the government hospital in the day, but he's got his own little clinic, tiny little thing. But he said, I said, well, what if I hadn't caught it? What would have happened? He said, well, I would have booked you in at the government hospital, and I would have cut it out up there. Okay. Doggy said, Peter, have you been to Pranchuk Kiri Khan? Yeah, I've been there, and actually we're going tomorrow night. I'm actually going there to do some filming, so providing it doesn't rain, of course. Does your girlfriend know about dementia in the family, and do you think she would look after you? I definitely think she would look after me. I've done a will, okay, for my things. I've got 2 daughters in England. I've done a will in England for them because I've got assets in England. So if something happens to me, they're looked after. But, you know, I've got money in the bank here. I've got a car, I've got a scooter and stuff like that. And I think it's only fair if she's with me, you know, and I get old and she looks after me. She deserves to be compensated, doesn't she? She's going to be my carer when I'm old. I mean, she's great now, and I'm still fit, as it were. Not fit, but, you know, I don't have anything wrong with my brain at the moment. And, you know, in that will, what I've said is it's got to be signed off by my friend Simon, who I trust to I know him for 30 years. So if I suddenly get dementia and he wants to come over and see me, and she's like, oh, no, you can't come over, I'll be busy. Or he finds out she's having an affair behind my back because I've got dementia or I'm 80 and she's 20 years younger than me, 18 years younger than me. And then, you know, she's not really being good or looking after me. I don't think any of this is going to happen. You just got to protect yourself, right? And if something like that happened where I had dementia, she wasn't looking after me, or I got senile and she basically fobbed me off, or she got herself a young Thai boy or something like that, and he found out about it, then he wouldn't sign off the will. So basically, if she's a good girl, which I'm pretty sure she is, if she's a good girl, I get old and she looks after me, takes care of my needs, and basically it's my carer. When I pop my clogs, as they say, then Simon will sign off the will, and then everything I own in Thailand will go to her. And I'm planning to pay this house off in the next 5 years anyway. You know, nothing is 100% certain, is it? As I always say, 2 things, taxes and death. You say we go down twice a year. Okay, it's a nice town. It's a beautiful town. Holden fan, when you lived in the UK, did you visit any European countries such as Malta? I would like to visit Europe again one day, but the cost of the flight from Australia is a joke. No, not at all. I had no interest whatsoever to visit anywhere in Europe. The only place I visited once, I'm a big history buff, World War II, not so much World War One, but anything aviation, okay? Anything, especially prop planes or propeller. I'm not interested in jet, all the modern things, but anything like, obviously Hawker Hurricane, Spitfire, Messerschmitt 109, all them classic World War II aircraft, the Mosquito. I have a real interest in that. Not so much now, but when I was young, growing up, and I used to make the Airfix kits and stuff like that. And one place I always did want to go to was Colditz Castle. If you don't know what Colditz Castle is when British airmen were downed and they landed in Europe when it was occupied territory, they were put in POW camps. But there were certain officers who had a habit of escaping, and they get caught and they'd escape again and again. And they got all these guys, and it was kind of like putting all your bad eggs in one basket. But it was a big mistake the Germans made, because they put them in a castle called Colditz Castle. But when you got all them like-minded people together, then there was a lot of successful escapes from this castle, which was their high security, escape-proof castle, which at the time was in East Germany, and you couldn't get into East Germany because of the wall. And that went down in 89, I believe. And me and a friend at the airfield, I used to have a friend at the airfield who had a similar he was a similar interest as me. We took a flight to what was the town we went to first? Big town in East Europe. I can't remember what it's called now. God, my memory's getting bad. But then we'd hired a car and we drove for about 40 minutes, and we actually arrived at Colditz Castle. And it was quite exciting because I had a TV series in the 70s that I used to watch. They had a black and white movie in the 50s, which I've seen several times. And when you go there, a lot of the escapes, they have an escape museum. A lot of the tools they made themselves, you can actually see they've still got them, homemade sewing machines and keys that unlock, the old locks and stuff. And that's the one time I went to East Europe, but that's going to bug me now, not knowing the name of that town. I've always had a fascination with Asia. I've never really been interested in anywhere else. I would have liked to have gone south of the border from America, like maybe Mexico or Colombia, but that never happened. I don't think it ever will now. D&E-san, hi Peter. I just Googled semaglutide in Thailand, and it's available here under the brand name. I can't pronounce that. Cost between 8,200 to 10,000. So it's cheaper than the injection, but somebody said it's not as good. I'll take a note though, and I'll go and find out. What did you say? It's under the brand name. Okay. Let's put it on a fresh bit of paper. RYBEL. Because the pharmacy I go to here, he's a very good guy. Okay. Right, so you said between 8,000 and 10,000. Well, I'm paying 14, so that's quite a saving. Maybe you can get a higher dose in the pill. Doesn't your girlfriend cut your nails? She would do if I asked her, but I'm very. I don't really like. I don't want to sit there having my nails done. I just don't. Yeah. If anybody touches my feet, I jump through the roof. So she can't do them. And my own nails, they've always been short anyway, because I bite them. I used to buy liquid in England to paint them. That you forget, and you're watching TV and you got it, and it tastes awful. Yeah, the older we get, the higher probability of prostate cancer. Thanks for cheering me up. Okay. Leslie 444. I've had 3 mates whose wives died before them. Do you know what? I hope that doesn't happen. That'd be what's going on in the stream today. It's like the most depressing stream I've ever taught. No, it isn't Dresden, Toby. It's not Dresden. It's in what was East Europe. It begins with I had it then. I had it. Let me look on a map, because it's killing me. It's killing me. I've got to know what it's called. Maps. So if I just put in Colditz, because that's actually the name of the town. Okay. Right, there we are. Right, where is it? Where is it? I can't pronounce any of the other team places it's near. So let me just put it in. Okay. I can't even remember if it was north. Leipzig. So it's spelled Leipzig, Leipzig. And that's a big city, but it was amazing because when we went there, 4-story apartment buildings, big long ones, almost like the Soviet era kind of stuff, because it was similar, wasn't it? East Germany, all empty, all the lights off at night. They've all gone over to the west. You know, it's like a big city with no traffic jams. You know, we're driving and we didn't stop for traffic. There was no people around. It was very, very quiet. Okay, hold on, fan. I'm into the war history as well. My grandpa served 2 World War II, but I never met him to get any stories from him, unfortunately, as he passed when I was young. He lived in Europe and lived in Australia. Okay. We're very lucky. I'm 66 and I'm never, it was, Dog. I didn't see your answer before I looked it up. We're very lucky. Right, I want to show you a couple of photos. I showed these in last Sunday's stream, but if you weren't in there, somebody said to me, they said, have you got any photographs when you were younger? Okay, and the thing is, when we were young, we didn't have phones with cameras, so you had to carry a camera or somebody would snap you and they give you a picture. So I'm going to repeat these. I showed these on Sunday, as I say, and I've just dug out 2. Now, the first one was from my first passport, you know, the big, thick blue passport, and I think I was 28 in that one. And the second one I'm going to show you, I was with some random girl, I don't know now, and I think it was about 21 in that one. So this is the first one. This is when I first came to Thailand. Well, no, it was before I came to Thailand. So you can see I had a thick black hair there, not like today. And then even younger was this one here with the girl. And I think that was taken in a nightclub. I know because I've got a little diamante on my lapel there. You know, God, we never thought we were going to get old. Okay. Lusty 444. When I meet up with a group, local expats, it turns into an old gits medical ailments discussion. Yeah, I mean, we have to think about it. Of course we do, but it is depressing, isn't it? When you think, you know, you could get prostate cancer, you could get dementia. You know, I mentioned before, you know, I'm 66, and when I was a kid, if you said, oh, he's 60 or even 70, I'm getting close to 70, 4 years away. When I was a kid, if you said, oh, he's 70, he's like ancient. Is he still alive? 70? Wow, he's really old, you know, and now I'm there. Glenn, could you use the government hospital for serious treatment like cancer, etc.? Peter, the cost would be much lower and you don't still get a little priority by paying. Yeah, absolutely. I use the government hospital anyway because one, I've got the Thai ID card now for foreigners, so I'll get a discount anyway. And the San Paulo hospital here, if you get put in an ambulance and you've had a heart attack and you go to San Paulo, they'll send you to the government hospital because I can't deal with it. Okay, Bangkok Hospital is the best hospital here in Hua Hin, but it's pricey. You know, I had blood work done, I had blood taken, and was it that or I had something else? No, I thought I was having a heart attack one day because I've been playing with my girlfriend. I forgot all about it. We've been fighting, and every sort of few minutes I was getting a pain here, like a sharp pain. I thought, shit, this is it. I'm going to have it. And I went in, and they put me straight into emergency. They X-rayed me. They put the sucker things on, all sorts. It cost me 12,000 baht for nothing because then I'd remembered when I came out. Oh shit, well, you know. But the government hospital, the thing is, it's crowded, but they've got all the facilities, and people think because it's a government hospital, it's going to be like nasty. It's not. It's very, very good. They've got all the equipment, and the one here in Hua Hin tends to be a little bit better than other government hospitals because they have the Royal Palace here. So I would have thought he'd gone to a private hospital, but that's the story I've heard anyway. Travel gamer, handsome man, younger man. I showed that to my girlfriend. She says, "Oh, why couldn't I have met you when you were 28?" And I looked at her and I said, well, why couldn't I have met you when you were 18? Look at you now, 46. Okay. What else? Somebody asked me about my ADV earlier. I don't know if he's still in the stream, but that's my ADV there. Same color and everything. Beautiful. When I first seen this bike in the showroom, I wanted a black one, and they showed me this one. It was the only one they had, and I said, "Oh no, I don't like the color." But now I've had it for over a year. I really like the color. Oh, that was from last week. Another quality tourist there in Phuket threatening a Thai. There you go. And he's an English guy. Okay. All right. I think I'm going to have to knock it on the head there. I've done over an hour and a half. I could go more, but if there's no comments, I'll run out of things to talk about, and it's very slow today. So one from James there. Great stream, mate. Really enjoy it. My great uncle was a tail end gunner, most dangerous job in the aircraft in the war. Shot down over the Middle East. I love aviation. Made it my career. Be interested to know what you did as a career. I know this sounds like BS. I could actually show you my license. It's run out now, but I got a pilot's license, a national private pilot's license. I could fly any single piston engine aircraft up to a certain weight, and I did that because I don't like sports, and learning to fly isn't as expensive as people think it is. It's almost on a par, forgive the pun, with playing golf and being a member of a golf club. You know, I used to fly from a disused Second World War airfield near my home in Kettering, and it was a place called Deanthorpe, and you can look it up. They used to fly flying fortresses out of there. There's some good videos on YouTube, but it was great fun. You know, nothing nicer than going up to the airfield on a Sunday morning, getting there at 6 o'clock, you know, on a summer's day, getting there at 6 o'clock, taking it out of the hangar, pre-flighting it, or you strap yourself in, you're on the runway at 7. No one else is there, right? Because it's a Sunday morning, it's a disused airfield, still got the runway. There's no radio or anything there. It's disused airfield. You know, it's surrounded by countryside. You take off at 7 in the morning. You know, there's no hot air to throw you around because the early morning mixing hasn't started. You know why we have clouds, right? That's the moisture that the sun brings up from the ground at night, and it turns into clouds. Well, you get yourself under one of those clouds, it can get quite rough. That's why glider pilots head for those clouds, because they get the lift, and then they'll leave that cloud and head for another one. But there was nothing like it. I really enjoyed it. My license has run out now. I've physically got it, but you've got to have at least 12 hours in 2 years, which is nothing really, and an hour with an instructor to keep the license going. Not that he instructs you, he just flies with you to see if you've picked up any bad habits, and he'll correct you. Okay, Broadcast Dave, how you doing? Hey, Peter, going back to the Land of Smiles in August for my birthday, I'm deciding whether or not to retire. Look, the advice I give on retiring, I've done it now, right? There's a couple of things. Firstly, I would say, do not retire on a shoestring budget, okay? Because it may appear cheap out here, but when you get out here, it's not like coming on holiday. You do settle into a routine like you do in your own country. I've mentioned this before, where, you know, you're going to have to pay your rent, you're going to have to pay your water, you have to pay your electric, you have to go and do your shopping, your cooking, your cleaning, you know, just like you would in your own country. And, you know, you can spend a lot more than you were thinking about. So most of the guys who are miserable here, or they've gone back to their own countries, it was money problems, okay? That's the first thing you got to think about. And then you've got to think about what you're leaving behind. You know, a lot of people have got family. They wouldn't be able to deal with leaving their family behind. I've got 2 daughters, that's it, okay? And they're coming out to see me in November. My youngest one's blocked me for about 8 months, so presumably she's still coming out. And you got to think, what would you miss about your own country? Well, you can get everything here. You can get all the ales and beers and foreign foods, so that's not going to be an issue. You can get all the medical, the hospitals are great. You have to pay for them, but they're very, very good. The dentists are fantastic here. I had all my teeth done here, 93,000 baht for the veneers. You know, so you're not going to miss that. So the only thing you'd really miss from UK is if you've got a lot of good close friends. Well, I say UK anywhere. If you've got a lot of close friends in the UK and you think you'd miss them, maybe there's certain clubs you belong to. You play football on a Sunday morning with some of your mates, or you've got a lot of family, uncles, aunties. If you can drag yourself away from that and you're still going to be happy here, then that's fine. But the other alternative, what some guys do, a lot of guys that I know, what they'll do, they'll spend the summer months in the UK. And it's so cheap to rent here if you don't go crazy. If you just get a room or a 1-bedroom apartment, especially out of Bangkok, you know, you can pay a couple of £100 a month. What some guys do, they'll pay a year's rent, and then they'll be in the UK from, say, May, June, July, August, September, and then they'll come out here for October, November, December when it's quiet here and it's cooler. And then when high season's over, they'll go back to the UK. That's a good alternative, because then you've got the best of both worlds if you can afford to pay the rent while you're not here, because you won't use any electric or any water while you're not here. Dog, it's because it's so hot in the West now. Yeah, it's funny because it just seems a couple of months everybody was moaning about being so cold, and now it's hot. Oh, wow, that's fantastic. You say, I'm an airline pilot, fly a Boeing 777 and a 787. That's great. So when I bought my, it's actually classed as a microlight that I flew. But the reason I don't say microlight is because people have got this vision of those old triangle wings where you sit in an open cockpit, one behind the other. You can look at a picture of it. I used to fly what they call a Sky Ranger. It's a two-seater aircraft. Look, if it flew over, it looks like a normal aircraft. It had a Rotax 9124 stroke engine in it, cruised at about 80. Climb rate was about 1,200 foot a minute. So, I'm not giving you BS, okay? And a company in Sywell Aerodrome sells them. But the interesting bit I was going to tell you, the guy I paid £20,000 for mine. I bought it secondhand. The guy I bought it from, he was actually a pilot on Concorde. And I thought, come on. And I said to him, why would you, you're flying Concorde, why would you fly this? And he said, because when I flew Concorde, it was like flying a computer. This is real flying. And he showed me a picture of himself in his captain's uniform in Concorde, so that was amazing to meet the guy, But yeah, that's impressive, James. Who doesn't? Doctors and pilots, everybody looks up to them, don't they? Right, Ronald, hi, all just got here. You nearly missed us, Ronald. You nearly missed us. Been going for an hour, 40 minutes now. Dogged. To learn to fly, you really need 10 on 10 on both eyes, or 9 is good too. There's different kinds of flying you can do. The one I used to do was called visual flight rules. So you had to have a certain distance that you could see, and you had certain distance from the ground. They have another one called visual flight, instrument flight rules, where you can fly in clouds and at night, and you're just relying on instruments, so you can see if they've got an artificial horizon, so you can see which way the aeroplane's up and stuff like that. I had to sit 5 exams. There's a lot of it took me about a year to get the license. I know guys it took 5 years because they could only do so much a month. But once you do it, it's great fun. There's nothing like seeing the excitement on somebody's face when you take off for the first time and they're sitting next to you and they're like holding on to everything, It can be scary as well if you get caught up in bad weather. And Andrew, is it? Hi, Peter. Was late to the chat. Besides YouTube, what other hobbies do you have? I do like going out in the evening and having a nice meal somewhere with my girlfriend, or there's people who come down here who I've met on YouTube who've become good friends now. And I've got one guy, Tom, he spends half his time in Bangkok, half his time down here. He's got a place down here, place in Bangkok. Edward, who's now in America, he'll be back at the end of July. Often go for lunch with him. But really, I'm not really a touristy type where I've got to go to every island and every town, every seaside town within 2 hours of here, because I've done all that years ago, and it's like, yeah, occasionally before we had the dog and she wasn't working, we'd go an hour south to a beautiful beach and we'd spend there an afternoon and we'd have some nice food near the beach. And, we did a few places like that. What was the question? If I didn't do YouTube, where were we? Yeah, hi Peter, wasn't late to the chat. Besides YouTube, what other hobbies do you have? So yeah, I don't really have any hobbies because I don't like late nights. So usually when I go out, I'm back home by about 8:30. I'll jump in the shower and I'll have a couple more at home, and I'll just watch a movie or some. I like watching. I tell you what I've got into lately on YouTube is these guys. They're basically troublemakers, but it's so entertaining. These guys who make out they're going to film. They call themselves auditors, okay? And what they do, they go to like an industrial estate and they'll walk and they'll start filming everything. And of course, it gets attention. The security come out. You're not allowed in here. This is private. And of course, they've researched all the rules, what's law, and they're not breaking the law, and it's civil law. And they know all the answers, right? And they make out they've come there to film the factory because it's interesting. They'll be like, well, you can't film here. It's private land. He's like, well, I'm going to take the drone up in a little bit. And he really winds them up. And there's one guy, he's a Scottish guy, and he really winds them up. He calls them names, and it gets into a real heated argument. They start threatening him, and he's like, do you think you're man enough? And, he really winds them up, but it's so entertaining, I mean, I think humans are built to enjoy that sort of thing, but that's what I've been watching lately on TV. Very funny. Right, in today's story, when the guy said he met someone who had worked in the hotel industry for 20 years, I thought that could have been Peter making a cameo. Well, I was 30 years, actually. No, do you know, I can't remember the stories because what I do, I make them a week in advance so I don't have to panic, because the stories, they take me about a total of, I get the emails come in, okay? So I have to copy and paste the emails into a Word document, and I want 10 pages, font, Arial font 14, and I like to put a paragraph break in each page. So I have one page, in the middle there's a paragraph break. So I've got 10 pages. Then what I do, I've got to listen to those stories to make sure they haven't got any bad words or anything like that in them. So then in Word, there's actually a feature where you can hit like a microphone, and I can just sit back and listen to it. And once I've corrected any bad words, well, it's actually easy now because I can put the story into ChatGPT and say, check that this story is YouTube compliant, check for full stops, capitalization. Because some people send in interesting stories, but they're just written so badly grammarly, the grammar, that I used to take, double the time because I had to do it manually. So it's a lot easier now. But even with that, I have to listen to the story. That will take me to do all that, just to copy, paste, read it. Takes me about an hour, that part of it, okay? Then what I have to do, I have to, obviously, if I'm in the video, I have to put a shirt on. I've got some pillows that I put at the back here. So I haven't got them up today, so you might notice a bit of an echo. But normally I forgot I should have put pillows, but I've got 4 pillows I put behind there, and it takes away the echo. And then I'll actually record the stories. And then what I have to do then, take the stories from my camera to my laptop, and then I've got to put that into the editing software and listen to them again, because I make mistakes. When you listen to the stories, occasionally you'll hear me say the same thing twice. I missed it, because what happens, I'll make a mistake, I stop, I start again, it's corrected, I cut it, but I forget to take away that bit that was a mistake. So sometimes you'll hear me, not very often, but there was one a couple of weeks ago, there was a few in there. And then once I'm happy with it, I've got to burn the video, which takes another half an hour. And then I've got to set the page up, title, description, hashtags, SEO keywords. Then I've got to come up with a thumbnail, which I don't use AI for my story thumbnails, a nice pretty woman and that. And then I have to upload it. So the total time, those stories that are only 30 minutes long take me about 6 hours to do from start to finish, so that I don't panic at the end of the week and think, shit, it's Friday, I haven't done the stories. What I do is I do the stories on the like, because I got a live stream today, I done them yesterday for next Saturday. So they're up on YouTube server right now, the video, but nobody knows it's there. So next Saturday, I'll just release, or I'll release it on Tuesday to members and then Saturday to everybody else. So that means I was free to do the stream today. Had I had a stream tomorrow on the Sunday, today I would have been doing the stories. So the point of telling you all that is I can't even remember what the stories were about last week. Holden fan, is there any piloting places in Thailand you can take piloting people? Well, they got an airfield in, they've got an airport here. I've noticed small aircraft, and they've got an airfield in Pattaya, because I've seen a couple of microlights go over about 6 o'clock at night. But you know what, I've done it. I've done it now. I don't really want it. I'm one of those guys, once I've achieved what I wanted, because it's a great achievement actually getting a pilot's license, any kind of pilot's license, because you've got all the exams and you have to really study like you're studying in university. I forget the exams now. One was technical. It's all about the aircraft, the strains, what it can do. One is called human endurance. You can't go above 10,000 feet, for instance, without oxygen, because you'll pass out. What was the other? And then you got meteorology. You've got to learn a big book about all the weather. You fly too close to a mountain, you get downdrafts that can chuck you about and all this sort of stuff. And then there was the actual flight test itself with an instructor. And then there was one, then there's like the highway code of the air. So 5 exams. And, you really have to study. And it is an achievement. I've seen a lot of guys come along to our airfield who had this idea that they wanted to fly. A couple of weeks, they packed it in because they didn't realize how difficult it was. You had to take it seriously and study at it. It wasn't just about the money. Ronald, have you talked about Starmer residing? No, because I don't do politics, Ronald. Somebody mentioned it earlier, and all I said was I don't think it's going to be any better with Burnham. Andy Barnum, is it, or Burnham? They should burn him. I don't think it's going to be any better with him, but I don't like to open up a discussion about it, because, once you talk, I had one guy once, nice guy, I know him, I've met him in Bangkok, comes into he used to come into the streams all the time, and he said, I said something about politics, and he said, I come in here to enjoy myself. I don't like politics. And he left the stream. So I try not to. There's enough channels out there that do politics. I never found proper pork pies. Oh God, there's so many places that sell proper pork pies. Villa Supermarket, you'll get them. They're all over Thailand. It's like a foreign import shop. Here in Hua Hin, you can get them. Nannies on 88. There's lots of places you can get them. James, is it true, Peter, I miss general aviation when I can fly aerobics? Okay. Ronald, the French crashed the Concorde and ruined it for us. Well, it caught fire, didn't it? On takeoff, it was full of German tourists. So there is a video out there somewhere. Paulie, is it over there on Facebook? You better off without Reta. I don't even know what that means. Okay. Never knew you owned a plane before. I actually owned over the years, about 14 of them. I was always selling them because I started off, when I started off, I was about 15. Most of the guys bought 2-strokes, like Rotax engines. I think it was the 446, and then it went up to a 5 something or other because they were cheaper. But they was, you know what 2-strokes like. You get more power out of them, but you got to mix oil with them, and then they cross over to 4-strokes, and you get, there's a website called A4s that people sell secondhand craft on, and it's like cars. There's always been your dream to get a certain one, and then you get that, and you'd see another one out, and then you'd buy that and you'd sell that one, and they pretty much held their money. So yeah, I don't normally mention it, but the reason is because in Thailand you get a lot of bullshitters, don't you? Guys who tell you they work for the SAS, they were in the SAS, and they were with the Queen's Guard, and all these stupid stories. And if I went around telling people that, they'd think that about me. They think, yeah, okay, of course you were, Peter. Then your alarm clock went off. Chris Stone, now that you've been there 5 years or so in a rhythm, what sort of food do you often eat? Well, it's actually 3.5 this time, Chris, but I do like Western food, all right? People criticize me for it. I do eat a lot of Thai food as well. I love Thai food, certain dishes. And I get criticized a lot for it on Facebook because I often show people a restaurant or where I'm eating, and they're like, oh, you're in Thailand, you should be eating Thai food, which is totally nonsense because, any Asian living in Europe are going to continue to eat Asian food. And in England, look at all the foreign food we eat, from Chinese to kebabs, Turkish. You've got everything in the UK. But in answer to your question, I'd say probably 70% Western and 30% Thai because, I don't eat breakfast, okay, but I do love bread. That's my downfall. Fresh bread, I love it. Bit of toast in the morning. I'll have a fried egg on toast. When I go out, what will I have? If I go to the Klansman, I'll maybe have spaghetti with pesto sauce. Is that how you pronounce it? I make my own beef burgers from scratch. They're great. A good English breakfast every now and again, fish and chips. When I go to our local market, there isn't so much Western food, so I tend to eat. I don't know if you know Thai food that well, but there's a dish called radna. You can radna guy being chicken. It's thick noodles and a glutinous sauce and vegetables and chicken, and you get Thai pepper. It's different from foreign pepper. You put this pepper on. It's very, very hot, and I love it. Fried rice. I like fried rice. Any kind of fried rice rather. You get the chicken on the skewers and the beef on the skewers and stuff they put a pineapple in between or chilies. They do some great curries like the green curry with prawns in it and all that. So I love all that. And my favorite Thai dish is a dish. It's baby clams, and what they do, they stir fry them with chilies and some vegetables, and it's really, really tasty. When you have a beer at Bangkok Port Market, for instance, they take a while to eat because they're in shells, so you have to pick them out, but fantastic. What's the channel for the auditors? There's loads of them. You just go onto YouTube and type in UK auditors, and they come up. The one I was talking about is a guy called Meet the Tyrants. He's a Scottish guy. The only thing with his videos, what I do with him, because his videos, some of them are like 45 minutes long, and they'll start off where he's just walking into an industrial estate, and that bit's kind of boring. So what you want to do is just forward it until you see somebody approach him, and then that's when it starts. Some are better than others, that's when it starts to get interesting. You'll leave me now, won't you, and go off and watch that. Broadcast Dave, I'm in the US thinking of doing half USA and half Southeast Asia. I need my American football. I know I can live a comfortable life in Thailand with my military retirement. When you say you need your American football, if you're talking about watching it on TV, you can get that here. There's all sorts of cable and Google TV now. You can get the apps. I don't mean if you want to go and watch it live, I get what you're saying. But most of the guys who've got military pensions out here, they're very, very good pensions. I know one guy, he's on about not just military. He was in the military when he was young, so he's got a military pension. Then he worked for a government office when he was about 40, and he got a pension off that. And then he ended up being a postman, and he got a pension from his post. So he got 3 pensions coming. He's getting the equivalent to about $12,000 a month. But you know, if the English pension is pathetic. It's about, in dollars, it's about $1,200 a month. That's it, the full pension. I'm only going to get about $900. Well, I'm getting it now, $900 a month, because I didn't pay in all the time since I was a kid, 30 years. It's the worst pension in Europe, actually. Dog, just use AI chat GPT to interpret the stories with terrible grammar. That's your best option to win time and read. Well, I do that already, but the problem is with ChatGPT, some of the stories, they're like 5-6 pages long, and it will come back and it'll say, this is too long. You have to do it in section. So what I have to do, I have to take one page, put it into ChatGPT, say, check this is YouTube compliant, check for spelling and grammar, and it will do that one page. And I have to copy that, put it into a new Word document, get the second page, and so on. And it's quite cumbersome. And if you accidentally click the mouse off the shaded area that you've already done, you have to start again or read the whole bloody thing. When I used to do it manually, it was terrible. It took me like 12 hours altogether to do those stories. And there is one country that's really bad for spelling and grammar. I'm not going to tell anyone unless I meet you face to face, and you'd be surprised. It's not England, but it's like you read the stories come in from that country. It's like, Jesus Christ, you know. Right, Perbert, we'll be in Bangkok tomorrow late. Any place you know that offers a roast dinner every day? Oh, you mentioned this to me today. Does anybody else know anywhere that does a roast dinner every day? I know plenty of good places where you can get good Western food and a roast on a Sunday, but I don't know. Yeah, no, I don't know where, because I don't eat that many roasts. If I do, I go on a Sunday. So if anybody knows in Bangkok where you can get a roast 7 days a week, let me know and I'll pass it on. Lance Link, yeah, I don't think chilies are well consumed by Englishmen / Farangs. Sourdough bread, toasted, is delicious. Fried rice is great. Fried rice is great. Curry is fantastic. Well, we're all, you know, we're each to our own. I like a good mix of food. I love Indian food. Absolutely love it. You know, again, I can't eat too much Indian food because I'm trying to lose weight. And, you know, look at my face, like a bloody Cabbage Patch doll. Do you remember them in the 80s? Uncle Willie B, love flying in small planes. In 1968, my uncle flew me over a crater lake in Oregon in a Cessna. Okay. One of the scariest flights I ever had, I was working in Jakarta, and we used to, you know, working in 5-star hotels, you meet a lot of wealthy people. There's people who live in that town, whatever town you're in, there's wealthy people, and especially back in the kind of 80s and 90s, you get wealthy people who live in that town, and they'll dine out in the five-star hotel, because most 5-star hotels have at least 3 to 5 restaurants, and one of them, well, the hotels I worked in, there's always one fine dining restaurant. So you'll have like a coffee shop that does general menu food, maybe a Thai restaurant, maybe a Mexican or a pizzeria or something like that. But the fine dining will be where you get your sirloin steaks and all that kind of thing. And you know, we used to get wealthy people coming in, and I got friendly with one guy in particular. He was married, he wasn't gay or anything like that. And he said to me, I'm going down. So this is when I was in Jakarta, and he said, I'm going down to, I forget where it was, but it was about an hour and a half flying. Okay. And he said, do you want to come? And I was like, I can't really afford it this month. I just didn't want to pay for the ticket, right? And he says, no. He said, it's on me. He says, just turn up here on this day. He said, we'll fly down. I booked the hotel. That's all covered. I'll cover the flight. So he says, we'll fly down in the morning. We'll spend the night. We'll have a night out. He says, some good clubs there. I was young, remember. There's some good night. I know some good clubs there. He paid for everything, you know, top whack. And he said, what we'll do, I booked the flight 9 o'clock the following morning. We can fly back to Jakarta. You'll be back by lunchtime. I was like, yeah, okay. And I didn't really think about what sort of aircraft it's going to be. And it was this thing with 2 propellers on it, but it only had like room, as far as I think it was about 8 passengers. And there was there was nothing to separate the pilot. I can't remember if there were 1 or 2 pilots. I think it was only 1. There was nothing to separate. You could sit, what I'm trying to say, sitting there, you could see the pilot there it was fully in space. Fully open, I should say. And there was me and this guy on one seat, and I think 2 other people. That was it. And it was a flimsy little thing. And we were flying over from Jakarta, and there's an area, I can't remember where it is now, in Indonesia, which is it has a lot of volcanoes that are kind of active, but they're not spewing out. You know, they're not, in other words, they're not dead. And we flew over them near there. And I tell you what, it was like being in a washing machine. It was the most frightening flight I've ever had in my life. I mean, the plane was getting chucked about for about 15 minutes. You know, I was terrified, to be honest with you, because I'd never experienced that, hanging on to the seat sort of thing. And I know now that, you know, structurally the plane's fine. But back then, it was a terrifying experience. Duffler, are you posting many shorts on YouTube now? The answer is no. I'll tell you why. I used to post shorts on YouTube, but the reason I don't now is because I've really concentrated on my Facebook page. I do upload on Facebook nearly every day, and sometimes up to 5 videos a day, because it's a lot quicker to post on Facebook, because it's just like point your camera, record it, a couple of lines to explain what it is, upload it, done and dusted. Whereas YouTube, you need a thumbnail and all the rest of it. So what I've done, I've got I just hit 74,000 followers on Facebook now, and I just tend to do mundane little videos about my daily life here in Hua Hin. You know, I'll film my garden. Yesterday, I uploaded a little video about how my girlfriend's plants were doing. You know, the grass dying after it's been green. Just stuff around the house. If we go out and we might film something. So I don't see the point in doing that and then doing some more stuff for YouTube. I just keep YouTube for the serious main videos I do. And then Facebook is just for the kind of day-to-day mundane stuff. And I'm surprised. I mean, a lot of the videos on Facebook, I thought, well, nobody will watch this. And they do. People like it. You know, there's guys, you'd be surprised what people watch. You know, it's like, I used to look at stuff on Facebook and think, well, that's stupid. Who wants to know what he had for lunch? You know, what's he uploaded that for? But you'd be surprised how many people like it. I know from the comments. Lusty444, when we lived in the UK, my Thai missus had to cook some food outside. It was so smelly, especially those bamboo shoots. Yeah, I get it. And that's why a lot of Thai houses are built with an outside kitchen. We nearly bought one. I'm glad we didn't because of the mosquitoes. So what my girlfriend does, we've got a portable gas. We've got a proper two burner, you know, with a gas bottle in the kitchen and a proper hood and stuff for cooking. In the daytime, we put the doors up and I've got an extraction fan. But sometimes she likes to eat about 8 o'clock at night, and she wants to cook this really smelly fish. And the first time she did it, I couldn't get the smell out of the house for 3 days. It was awful. Okay, but Thais eat food like that sometimes, you know, durian, you know what a durian smells like. So we came to a compromise. So what we do is, if she wants to eat at 8, 9 in the evening, because, you know, Thais, they eat like 24/7, don't they? And what I bought was, you know, these like camping gas things. You get 3 bottles, you buy 3 gas bottles and you stick one in. So if she wants to cook something like that, she'll put it on a plastic stool outside. And then she's got a little table with 2 chairs under the carport, and she'll eat it there. And she's quite happy to do that. And it keeps me happy because it doesn't stink the house out. If I cook in the daytime, like burgers and stuff, I just leave the back door open. There's a fan on my back that blows it. And yeah, the smell goes very, very quickly. Did I say hi to you, Grave Billy One? And hi to Czech Band. Hello, Peter and everyone, and greetings from Prague. Due to be 38 here today and 40 tomorrow. No AC, so it will be a struggle. I know it's crazy, isn't it? A guy wrote to me and a guy I know in England. He actually wrote to me and said it was so hot in his bedroom he slept in the lounge because he doesn't have air conditioning. Holden fan, what are your thoughts on JFK Jr.'s plane crash? Do you think it was pilot error that caused the crash? You never know. If it's kept a secret, we'll never know. It's just guessing, isn't it? Grave Billy 9466. I was chatting Asians online and gave up and went to YouTube. Okay. I was chatting Asians online and gave up and went to YouTube. Okay. Grave Billy One again. By the way, you are looking very well groomed. Oh, thank you very kindly, young sir. No, I'm fat. You know, I said I was going to go to the gym today, but the stream's still going. It's 2 hours I've been yakking now. I've got nothing to do tomorrow. I'll probably go tomorrow because I don't have I'm going to film tomorrow night. I can go in the afternoon. Lusty 444. I love Sunday roast, but challenge in this heat. What? Grave Billy One. Why you don't have the purple gift box? I don't know what the purple gift box is. Shin P30. Is it a fairly big news story in Thailand about the 46-year-old Australian who has supposedly murdered a 70-year-old bar girl in Pattaya? Oh, yeah, really big. That guy, I mean, if he's, I don't know nothing about it, I haven't even read about it, I've just heard about it. If he's really done that to a Thai girl, his life isn't worth living, because not only will he go to prison for most of his life, but he'll get a kicking from the Thais every now and again. You know, I mean, how would you feel about a foreign guy goes to the UK and he killed an English girl, you know, and then he's in the same prison as you? What would you think? Yeah, Uncle Willoughby, I can't read that one out, unfortunately. Christo Herbert, the Old English Bangkok is good. Okay, I don't know the Old English. Where's that one? I used to go to Soy 33/1 at Prom Pong, the Royal Oak. You got the Robin Hood, the Royal Oak. You got the Irish bar there. Forget the name of it. There's two Irish bars across the street from each other. And I used to go to the Red Lion as well. I thought the food was pretty good there. Sometimes I used to hear people say, oh, no, I don't like the food there. I used to think it was pretty good. The pizza was very good in the Red Lion. Yeah, nice to see you again. How you doing? Well, I won't try and pronounce your name again because I always get it wrong, don't I? Okay, Grave Billy 19466. My neighbor kid just got an ultralight aeroplane and uses my what's that word? Oh, field for the runway. He says he will take me up. He got it off Marketplace. Okay, I mean, I hope he's had it checked out. You can't just, the thing is, you can't just buy a bloody ultralight and fly it. You know, you need to learn to fly it properly, and it needs to be safe. You know, if you have a car crash, you've got a good chance of walking away from it. You know, you crash an airplane and you ain't got no chance. That used to make me laugh. People automatically assume if the engine stops, you're going to drop out the sky, and that isn't the case. When you fly, they actually turn the engine off at some point in your training to teach you how to land with no engine. It's all about airflow over the wings and the stalling. If you fall, every aircraft has its own stall speed, and if your aircraft you're flying goes under that, it will drop a wing and you're going to spiral dive in most cases. So when the engine goes off and you're flying straight and level, you just point the nose down. So as long as you've got an angle, you'll be going down, but there's airflow, but it takes a few minutes to get to the ground, and it gives you time to look for a field. You feel the right field and you point it in here and you can get it down. Most of the time, because the fields are rough, it will break the undercarriage or the propeller or something, but you'll get down safely. Thank you very much, Theodore. Great stream as always. Chris, Peter Purbett was asking about getting a roast dinner 7 days a week. The Old English seems to, okay. So Purbett, that's two people have said the Old English. Can somebody tell me where the Old English is? I think I've seen it. I can't remember it. He said, okay, I have only been up 4 times. I'd give him don't go up yet. Take my word for it. Wait till he's been flying for a good 6 months to a year, till he's got experience of all different weathers and he really knows how to handle it. And before you get in the damn thing, check he's at it. You know, they have to be certified every year. They have to get there's certain parts that have to be changed, even if there's nothing wrong with them. So don't get in it unless you can see proof that he's done that. You know, it's been signed off by whatever flying club or whatever's around you. Yeah, nice one. I'm not scared of flying. I'm scared of crashing. We used to have a saying: any landing is a good landing that you can walk away from. Holden fan, have you thought about taking Bintel on day trips to the beach? Our dog's allowed on the beaches in Thailand. I hope Bintel isn't clingy like my dog is. He's timid. He's very timid. We have taken him to, there's a reservoir about half an hour away from here. Soy dogs are the problem, okay? But if you carry a stick and you hold it up, they normally don't come, because, you know, the Thais will whack them if they come near, if they do. So they know what a stick means, or you bend down, pretend to pick up a stone, they'll run off. But he's very, very timid. He gets frightened. When we walked him on a leash around the reservoir, it's a nice walk around there, 3.5 kilometers, no dogs. When people walk, it's not particularly busy, but when people walk the other way, he starts trembling, you know. And I've just started now there's a night market. I usually go on the motorbike with my girlfriend and we go there, but I've been taking the car so that I can take him. And for the first half hour, he's petrified. He's looking around. He's trying to get away. He's pulling on his leash and stuff. After about half an hour, he'll settle down under the table and he'll lay down, but he'll be constantly looking. And you can see, you know, he's not trembling, but he's looking, and he's very, if I try to walk around the stores, he's dragging his feet. But once he knows we're going out, then he'll be okay. But he's only been there twice, so I'm going to take him there at least twice. I don't want to go more than twice a week, but I'll take him. I'm looking down there because he's sleeping. Wake him up. No, he's in a deep sleep. If we keep it's really important to socialize him. And when the kids, we get kids come down the street, and when the kids see him in the garden, they love him. You know, they call him. It's the only time he barks. He starts barking at them. Okay, let me just tell my mate that I'm doing a live stream. Oh, we've got 3 from you now. Who's up? Lusty444. I assume whatever you go up and fly in that you need a flight plan. Not really. I mean, I used to go up on a Sunday. You get sat nav. It works the same as in the car. Except instead of following a road, you have an arrow, and you just, you program it where you want to go. If you're going on a journey, a particular journey where you're going somewhere, an hour away, for instance, you don't have waypoints on a map. But when you go up just for fun, I'd had the sat nav and it was set to airfield. So if I ever got lost, I just pressed. It was go home, I think it said. I just pressed go home and it'd point me in the direction. Eventually the airfield would show up. So a lot of the time I used to just go up and take off and just go around places I hadn't looked at. Okay, I don't know what you're referring to there. Do you need a good watchdog? They have that there. I don't feel any danger around here. I said to my girlfriend, because we back on to like land. Okay, we're in a street with houses on each side and across the road, but at the back of the house is kind of like a house over there. But looking out the window now, I mean, it's just trees, it's just banana. It looks like a scene from a Vietnam movie. It's just long palm trees, coconut trees, banana trees. So in theory, if this was England, somebody would come over the back. But I asked my girlfriend, and she said, look, that doesn't happen in Thailand. Normally, if somebody breaks into a house, it's like, it's an isolated house, and it's normally one of the neighbors, or he goes off for the day or something, or he's out in field farming, and they'll, get into the house. But actual burglary, as we know it in the West, doesn't really happen here. The other thing is, we've got neighbors, so it'd be very risky coming over that fence. And I've got cameras that record 24/7. They see it at night. And if somebody was to come over at night, a light comes on the camera, the sensor picks them up, which is really handy, because when we come round, we can see what we're doing. Sorry about this, your bloody nose again. But what we do, just as an extra precaution, because Binto sleeps in our room. We put him in a cage in our room. Otherwise, he'd be up on the bed. We wouldn't get any sleep. But because we sleep with aircon, it's good for him as well. We used to let him sleep in the lounge. But what I do, we've got the door handles have got those push button locks on them. So they're round handles and you push your button. So what I do, when we go to bed, I push the lock on the bedroom door. We've got 2 windows, one behind us and one on the side. So the only way people could get to us is if they had a key to our bedroom, or they come to one of the windows. And if they come to one of the windows, he'd bark like crazy. And once he starts barking and I put the light on, I'm sure whoever's out there is going to leg it. Because, if you were a burglar and you're here in the dead of night and you're trying to open a window to creep into the house, while everybody's sleeping, suddenly a light goes on and a dog starts barking for Thailand. I mean, you're not going to be around very long. So I don't fear crime too much here. The biggest crime, I think, in Thailand is mainly there's a lot of people call us up now, scammers. Like I got a number from a Thai number yesterday. It said Thailand, and I always give it to my girlfriend. And she said, hello, in Thai. And then she kind of went like this. She went, "Ugh," and hung up. And I said, what was that? And she says, scammers. So they're just calling these random numbers. And I said, well, what is the scam? Because she's spoken to them. And what they pretend to be somebody that they know. And they say there's a debt. So they'll call up, say, my girlfriend. They'll say, somebody that has got a gambling debt. And unless they haven't got any money, it's 2,000 baht. And unless you can pay it off, we're going to beat them up. Something like that, and people are like, oh shit, my cousin's going to get beat up or something. And sometimes they'll pay it. And that's how the scammers make their money. Terrible. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to end it here because it's been, I haven't even got any out music for you. I've been going for 2 hours and 13 minutes now. Just very quickly, Lancelink 88, Peter, very sad 24 YO Australian blonde girl on holiday died on a scooter in Phuket. She was a famous sprinter, went around a corner in the rain and bike slid out. Don't know if she had a bike license. Well, this is a problem. A lot of unexperienced bikers rent here, and they think that they're going to be okay, and they have accidents. I've seen videos where I think they were Koreans. They got on a scooter, never been on a bike before. He opened the throttle and he just went straight across the road and smashed into a wall on the other side from the bike shop. Lusty 44. One way to avoid being burgled is not to show off your wealth. Oh, I haven't got any to show off anyway. But you wouldn't have to be very wealthy here, because there's a lot of poverty here as well. I mean, if you live where we live, our street is nice, but in the village, we drive down the road. There's people who have built tin shacks themselves with no windows. They're just corrugated steel with rope around them. There's some people are very poverty stricken. Okay, that is true, but I was just emphasizing that it's getting worse in Thailand. Grave Billy One, I love your stories. Please upload soon. Well, I released one this morning. Actually, it's the stories I release every Tuesday to members, and then they get released to everybody else on every Saturday. It's very rare I miss one. I might have to miss one Saturday when my daughters get here, because I haven't seen them for 2 years, and Right, okay. I think I'm going to leave it there. I don't think I've even got any outgoing music for the Saturday stream. I haven't got any outgoing music. Never mind. Look, I hope you've enjoyed the stream. I've enjoyed it. We don't get as many people in on a Saturday afternoon. A lot of people are working, and time difference is wrong for people. But the next stream I'm doing is a scheduled stream, which is 8 o'clock a week tomorrow on Sunday. And that'll be the regular stream at 8 o'clock, then the member stream at 9:30. I'm going to go and have a shave now, because I'm off tonight, and let Bento out for to go for a wee. I'll catch up with you next Sunday. Whatever you're doing, have a brilliant weekend, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.